Welcome, traveller of the waking world. You have arrived at the threshold of the velvet night, a place where the noise of the day dissolves into the vast, silent sea of the cosmos. Here, there are no deadlines, no demands, and no urgency. There is only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the universe, beating in time with your own heart. I invite you now to surrender the weight of your body to the surface beneath you. Feel gravity becoming a gentle embrace, holding you safely, anchoring you to this moment of profound stillness. Let your eyelids grow heavy, heavier still, until they close like curtains over a stage where the play has ended. Breathe in the cool, indigo air of the dreamscape, and breathe out the tension, watching it drift away like smoke into the star-studded void. Picture yourself floating in a space of absolute comfort, a sanctuary built of soft shadows and warm amber light. In the centre of this safe harbour, imagine a presence. It is small, yet it holds the dignity of a lion. It is soft, yet it possesses the strength of a coiled spring. It is the domestic cat, a creature that walks the line between the wild and the familiar, the mysterious and the comforting. Tonight we shall drift along the current of their existence, learning the secrets of their serenity, absorbing their mastery of relaxation. Let the image of a sleeping cat, curled into a perfect circle, a geometry of peace, fill your mind's eye. We will journey through their world, not with haste, but with the languid pace of a feline stretching in a sunbeam. Let us begin this voyage into the softest fur and the deepest purr. As we drift closer to this vision of feline tranquility, the first sensation that greets us is a sound, or perhaps it is a feeling that resonates deep within the chest. It is the purr. This mesmerizing rumble is one of the most hypnotic forces in nature, a biological lullaby that has soothed souls for millennia. Scientists and dreamers alike have marveled at this low-frequency vibration, which typically hums between 20 and 140 Hz. It is not merely a sign of contentment, it is a mechanism of healing. Imagine, if you will, that you can see sound waves. Visualize the purr as golden ripples radiating from the cat's chest, moving through the air like warmth, entering your own body. These frequencies are known to promote bone density and accelerate the healing of soft tissue, acting as a sonic massage for the weary. When a cat purrs, it creates a continuous loop of sound, vibrating on both the inhale and the exhale, a seamless circle of breath and resonance. Picture yourself lying beside this gentle creature, your hand resting lightly on its flank. Feel that steady, rhythmic thrumming against your palm. It travels up your arm, loosening the knots in your muscles, quieting the chatter of your mind. It is a sound that says, "All is well. You are safe. You are here." The purr is the heartbeat of the hearth, a grounding signal that pulls you out of the chaos of the world and into the restorative present. Allow this vibration to center you, syncing your own breathing to its slow, steady tempo, drifting deeper into the golden warmth of the sound. From this sonic embrace, our attention shifts to a rhythmic movement, a tactile dance that often accompanies the purr. You may know it as making biscuits, but let us observe the kneading of paws with the reverence of a slow-motion camera. Watch as the cat extends one paw and then the other, pressing rhythmically into a soft blanket, or perhaps your own lap. This behaviour is an echo from the dawn of their life, a memory etched into their very muscles from the time they were kittens nursing at their mother's side. It is a regression to a place of absolute safety and nourishment, a trance-like state where the adult cat returns to the innocence of infancy. Visualize the paws spreading wide, revealing the soft hidden velvet between the toes. See the gentle extension and retraction of the claws, not in aggression, but in a rhythmic flexing that mirrors the ebb and flow of the ocean tides. Push and pull, left and right. There is a meditative quality to this motion, a singular focus that excludes the rest of the world, As you watch this hypnotic dance in your mind, imagine your own body adopting this fluidity. Imagine your stress being kneaded away, pressed out of your shoulders and your back by these phantom paws. The kneading is a physical manifestation of comfort, a sign that the cat feels completely secure in its environment. Let that security transfer to you. You're in a place where you can let your guard down, where you can return to that primal state of being cared for, protected and loved. The rhythm of the kneading slows, eventually coming to a halt as the cat settles down, inviting us to contemplate the mastery of sleep itself. There is perhaps no creature on earth that understands the art of rest better than the cat. They are the guardians of the dream world, spending between 12 and 16 hours every single day in the embrace of slumber. Some, the elders and the kittens, may sleep for up to 20 hours. They do not apologize for this rest. They do not view it as wasted time. To the cat, sleep is a sacred biological mandate, a method of conserving energy for the moments when they must be fully alive. They teach us that rest is not a weakness, but a reservoir of strength. Imagine looking around a sun-drenched room. You see the cat, not merely sleeping, but actively seeking the pockets of warmth. They are solar-powered beings in spirit, following the movement of the sun across the floorboards as the day progresses. Visualize a cat draped over the back of a sofa, its body completely liquid, conforming to the shape of the furniture as if it has no bones. This is the state of total relaxation we seek. If you could lift one of their paws, it would be heavy and limp. If you could listen to their mind, it would be a quiet, static-free void. Allow yourself to emulate this heavy, liquid state. Feel your limbs unlocking, your spine lengthening, your head sinking deeper into your pillow. You're joining the cat in the sunbeam, absorbing the warmth, letting the hours drift by without the need to count them. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon in our shared visualization, the environment changes, but the cat's confidence does not waver. We transition now into the realm of shadows, exploring the miracle of the feline gaze. As the light fades to a twilight purple, the cat's eyes do not grow dim. Instead, they begin to glow. Behind the retina lies a miraculous layer of tissue called the tapetum lucidum, a Latin phrase meaning tapestry of light. This layer acts like a mirror, reflecting the smallest traces of light back through the eye, giving the retina a second chance to absorb the image. It is why their eyes shine like emeralds or gold coins in the darkness. Picture yourself walking through a dimly lit forest, the trees casting long, intricate shadows. While you might stumble, the cat moves with supernatural grace. To them, the night is not a shroud of blindness, but a silver-hued landscape of detail. They require only 1/6 of the light that humans need to see. Imagine possessing this ability, to look into the darkness of your own worries or the unknown future and see clearly without fear. The cat teaches us that the dark is not empty, it is simply a different canvas. Watch the cat's pupils expand, becoming large, black pools that drink in the starlight. There is no anxiety in their posture, only a heightened awareness, a serene acceptance of the night. Let this image soothe any fear of the dark you may hold. In the company of the cat, the shadows are simply places of rest and quiet observation. From the luminous eyes, we drift our focus outward to the sensitive halo that surrounds the feline face, the whiskers. These are not merely coarse hairs, they are exquisite sensory instruments, deeply embedded in the skin and connected to a rich network of nerves. Known scientifically as vibrissae, they are the cat's radar system. They are so sensitive that they can detect the slightest shift in air currents, allowing a cat to feel the movement of an object before they even see it. Imagine having a sense of touch that extends beyond your physical body, a force field of perception that tells you exactly where you fit in the world. Visualize the long, elegant curve of the whiskers catching the light. They are generally as wide as the cat's body, serving as a natural measuring tape. Before a cat enters a narrow space, the whiskers whisper to them, telling them if they will fit, ensuring they never get stuck. It is a built-in guidance system of boundaries. Think of the whiskers trembling slightly as a gentle breeze passes through the room. They represent a state of mindfulness, a constant, passive connection to the environment. You too can cultivate this sense of space. Feel the air against your skin, the temperature of the room, the texture of the sheets. Like the cat, rely on your senses to ground you in the here and now, navigating the spaces of your life with the assurance that you know exactly where you belong. As we move closer to the face of this ethereal guide, we are graced with a gesture of profound intimacy, the slow blink. In the language of cats, staring directly into another's eyes can be a challenge, but the slow, deliberate closing of the eyes is a gift of love. It is a cat kiss. When a cat looks at you and slowly lowers its eyelids, it is communicating a state of total vulnerability. It is saying, "I trust you enough to close my eyes in your presence. I do not need to watch you. I am safe with you." Visualize this moment clearly. The cat is sitting across from you, its posture relaxed. It catches your gaze, and then, with agonizing slowness, the lids slide down, holding the shut position for a heartbeat, before languidly opening again. It is a silent "I love you" that transcends words. Imagine returning this gesture. Feel your own heavy eyelids drifting down, engaging in this silent conversation of trust. With every slow blink, the barrier between species dissolves, leaving only a shared frequency of peace. The world outside the room fades away, leaving only this connection, this mutual agreement of safety. Let the slow blink be your permission to shut out the visual noise of the world, retreating into the warm, dark sanctuary behind your eyes. Behind the cat, trailing like a ribbon of smoke, is the tail, an appendage of exquisite balance and communication. It is an extension of the spine, a counterweight that allows the cat to perform feats of gravity-defying agility. When walking along a narrow fence or a high branch, the tail acts as a tightrope walker's pole, shifting subtly left or right to maintain perfect equilibrium. But beyond its mechanics, the tail is an emotional barometer, a paintbrush that colours the air with the cat's mood. Picture the tail of a contented cat. It is held high, perhaps with a slight crook at the tip like a question mark. It sways gently, a hypnotic pendulum marking the passage of calm moments. When the cat greets you, the tail might quiver with excitement or wrap around your leg in a warm, furry embrace. This is the tail hug, a gesture of ownership and affection. Visualize the fluidity of this movement. There is no rigidity, only the smooth, serpentine flow of the vertebrae. Imagine your own spine adopting this flexibility, the tension melting from your lower back, your alignment correcting itself with the effortless grace of the cat. You are balanced, you are poised, you are flowing with the current of the dream. Now the cat begins to move, and we observe the miracle of its gait. Watch the paws touch the ground. There is a specific magic to the way a cat walks, known as direct registering. If you look closely at the tracks left in the sand or snow, you will often see only one set of prints. This is because the cat's hind paw steps almost exactly into the impression left by the front paw. It is a mechanism of stealth and silence. By placing the rear foot in the spot the front foot has already tested and found secure, the cat ensures a silent passage, minimizing noise and visible tracks. Imagine this sensation of walking on clouds. The cat moves through the environment like a ghost, disturbing nothing, breaking no silence. This stealth is not born of fear, but of confidence and predatory focus. Visualize yourself moving through your life with this level of grace, stepping lightly, leaving no chaotic wake behind you, moving with intention and precision. The sound of the cat walking is the sound of silence itself. It is a hush that falls over the room. Let this silence wrap around you like a heavy blanket. The world is quieting down. The footsteps of the day are fading, replaced by the soft, confident tread of the cat walking through the landscape of your dreams. Finally, the cat pauses in a patch of moonlight to groom, drawing our attention to the unique texture of its tongue. While the fur is silk, the tongue is like sandpaper, covered in hundreds of tiny backward-facing spines called papillae. These are not merely for taste, they are tools of pristine maintenance. They act as a comb, detangling fur, removing dirt and spreading natural oils across the coat to make it waterproof and gleaming. The grooming ritual is one of self-care and self-soothing. Close your eyes and imagine the sound of this rhythmic grooming, the rough, methodical rasp against the soft fur. It is a sound of cleaning, of restoring order. To the cat, cleanliness is next to godliness. They spend a significant portion of their waking life ensuring their vessel is immaculate. This act also serves to cool them down and calm their nerves. It is a repetitive, meditative action that centers the spirit. Visualize this sensation as a metaphor for your own mind tonight. Imagine the rough tongue smoothing over the tangled thoughts of the day, combing them out until they are straight and orderly, brushing away the dust of stress, leaving your mind clean, shiny, and waterproof against the worries of tomorrow. You're being groomed into a state of purity and relaxation, and as we marvel at these biological wonders, we remember that this reverence for the cat is not new. We drift back through the mists of time, thousands of years into the past, to the golden sands of ancient Egypt. Here, the cat was not merely a pet, it was divine. The Egyptians saw the cat as a vessel of the gods, specifically the goddess Bastet, the protector of the home, fertility, and childbirth. To harm a cat was a capital offence. To live with one was to share your home with a guardian spirit. Visualize the great stone temples along the Nile, where cats roamed freely, adorned with gold jewellery and treated like royalty. They were believed to guard the veil between the worlds, their glowing eyes seeing spirits that humans could not. When a cat died, entire families would shave their eyebrows in a public display of deep mourning. This ancient connection reminds us that the creature sleeping at the foot of your bed carries a lineage of divinity. They are timeless watchers, guardians of the soul. As you drift deeper into sleep, know that you are under the protection of this ancient mystical sentinel. The spirit of Bastet watches over your rest, keeping the nightmares at bay, ensuring that your journey into the dream world is safe and sacred. The sands of time blow softly, burying the day, leaving only the eternal purring peace of the cat. From the golden sands of ancient memory, we drift forward on the river of time, carrying with us the sacred silence of the desert. Just as the ancients listened to the wind whispering through the dunes, the cat listens to the world with an acuity that defies our human comprehension. Let your attention drift upward now, settling on the velvet triangles that crown the feline head. These are not merely ears, they are independent satellite dishes, biological marvels of engineering designed to capture the faintest rustle in the grass, the quietest scurry in the wall. While we, in our limited scope, hear the loud and the obvious, the cat lives in a landscape of sonic texture that we can only imagine. Visualize the anatomy of this listening. A cat's outer ear, the pinna, is controlled by 32 individual muscles. Compare this to the mere 6 muscles that control the human ear, and you begin to understand the symphony of movement available to them. Watch in your mind's eye as a cat rests in a sunbeam, seemingly asleep. A sound occurs to the left, perhaps the snap of a twig or the distant hum of a car. The cat does not move its head. Instead, one ear swivels effortlessly, rotating up to 180 degrees like a radar dish tracking a signal, while the other remains focused forward. They can listen to 2 different worlds simultaneously. Imagine possessing this ability to fine-tune your reality, to filter the noise of existence until only the truth remains. Let this image encourage you to tune out the cacophony of your own day, swiveling your mental focus away from the noise and toward the quiet, rhythmic sound of your own breathing. As we float deeper into this sensory ocean, we find ourselves contemplating the miracle of balance. We have all heard the old adage that a cat always lands on its feet, but let us slow this phenomenon down until it becomes a ballet of physics. This is known as the writing reflex, a gift bestowed upon them by a sophisticated vestibular apparatus deep within the inner ear. It is a biological gyroscope that anchors them to the earth, no matter how the world spins. Imagine a cat falling in slow motion through a soft blue sky. It is not a chaotic tumble, but a calculated sequence of graceful twists. First, the head rotates, the eyes finding the horizon, locking onto the safety of the ground. Then, the spine follows in a fluid wave, twisting the front of the body to align with the head, while the back legs counter-rotate to manage the momentum. It is a masterclass in flexibility and spatial awareness. The cat does not fear the fall because it trusts its ability to correct its course. Visualize this sense of innate stability within yourself. Imagine that no matter how life tosses you, no matter how disoriented you may feel, you possess an internal gyroscope, a core of peace that will always orient you back to center. You will always land softly, absorbed by the cushion of resilience, ready to walk forward with dignity. You are weightless, twisting slowly in the safety of the dream, knowing the ground will be there to catch you. From the orientation of the body, we zoom in closer, drifting toward the very center of the feline face, to the small damp jewel of the nose. It may be pink as a rose petal, black as coal, or spotted like a chaotic map, but it is always unique. The pattern of ridges and bumps on a cat's nose leather is as distinct as a human fingerprint. There has never been, and never will be, another nose quite like the one belonging to the cat you are visualizing. It is their signature, their singular stamp upon the universe. Imagine touching this nose gently with the tip of your finger. It is cool, moist, and soft. This moisture is not accidental. It captures scent particles from the air, dissolving them so they can be processed by the olfactory nerves. The cat's sense of smell is 14 times stronger than our own. They do not just smell a room, they read it like a history book. They smell who was there an hour ago, what was cooked for dinner, the changing of the weather, and the dust settling on the mantel. They live in a world of invisible vapours, a kaleidoscope of aromas that paints a picture more detailed than sight. Breathe in deeply now through your own nose. Feel the cool air entering your body. While we cannot smell the world as they do, we can appreciate the breath that sustains us. Let the cool sensation of the inhale ground you, and let the warm exhale carry away the stale air of yesterday, leaving you fresh and unique, just like the singular print of the feline nose. Deepening our exploration of their sensory world, we encounter a behaviour that often puzzles the casual observer, a moment where the cat pauses, opens its mouth slightly, and curls back its upper lip in a strange trance-like grimace. This is not a sign of disgust, but a moment of supersensory intake known as the Fleeman response. The cat is utilising a secret weapon, the Jacobson's organ, or the vomeronasal organ, located on the roof of the mouth just behind the front teeth. This miraculous duct forms a bridge between the sense of smell and the sense of taste. Visualize the cat inhaling a scent so complex, so heavy with information, perhaps the pheromones of another cat or a subtle change in the atmosphere, that the nose alone is not enough. They must taste the air. They trap the scent molecules on their tongue and press them against the roof of the mouth, sending signals directly to the part of the brain that controls memory and emotion. It is a moment of intense focus, a pause where the rest of the world falls away. Imagine being able to taste the essence of a feeling, to savour the atmosphere of a room until you understand it completely. The cat teaches us to pause and truly process our environment, not just to glance and move on, but to take it in, to analyse the invisible currents of emotion and energy that surround us, and then to release them, returning to a state of neutral calm. As we drift from the face down the elegant slope of the neck, we arrive at the shoulders, where we discover the secret to the cat's liquid nature. Have you ever watched a cat pour itself through a gap in a fence that seemed impossibly small, or curl into a glass bowl half its size? The secret lies in their clavicle, or collarbone. Unlike humans, whose collarbones are anchored strictly to the shoulder and the sternum acting as a rigid strut, the cat's clavicles are free-floating bones, buried deep within the shoulder muscle. They are not attached to the rest of the skeleton. This means that if a cat can fit its head and whiskers through an opening, the rest of the body can follow without obstruction. They are not bound by the rigidity of a broad frame. They are collapsible, fluid, adaptable. Visualize yourself possessing this anatomical freedom. Imagine the tension in your own shoulders, the burdens you carry, the stiffness of stress, dissolving as your collarbones detach from their rigid hold. You become fluid. You can slip through the tight spaces of anxiety without getting stuck. You can flow around obstacles like water around a stone. Feel your shoulders dropping, melting, widening as you embrace the liquid philosophy of the cat. You're not rigid. You're a stream of consciousness, flowing effortlessly toward the sea of sleep. Rising from this fluid movement, a sound breaks the silence. Not the purr this time, but the meow. It is a sound we think we know well, yet it holds a secret intended solely for us. In the wild, adult cats rarely meow at one another. They communicate through scent, body language, and subtle chirps. The meow as a language evolved specifically to communicate with human beings. It is a vestige of kittenhood, a solicitation call used by infants to get their mother's attention. As cats domesticated themselves alongside us, they learned that we, the clumsy giants who cannot read scent or subtle ear twitches, respond to sound. They never outgrew this kitten language when speaking to us. They effectively treat us as their parents or perhaps their giant hairless kittens. The frequency of a soliciting meow often matches the frequency of a human baby's cry, triggering a subconscious nurturing response in our brains. It is a sonic key that unlocks our hearts. Imagine the cat looking up at you, offering this vocal gift. It is a bridge between species, a deliberate attempt to say, "I am here, I need you, acknowledge me." It is a request for connection. Let this remind you that it is okay to ask for what you need, to use your voice to seek comfort, warmth, or nourishment. In the quiet of the night, listen to the echo of that connection, the bond that transcends species, forged in the simple, melodic plea of the meow. The narrative shifts now from connection to the ancient pulsing rhythm of the hunt, retold in the safety of the living room. Even the most pampered house cat carries the spirit of the predator. Watch as the cat spots a toy mouse or a stray feather on the floor. The transformation is instant. The pupils dilate, becoming vast black pools to drink in the light. The body lowers, pressing into the carpet. And then the wiggle occurs. The rear end shimmies, a frantic, rhythmic side-to-side motion, while the front remains statue still. This is not just excitement. It is physics in action. The cat is testing the ground, ensuring its footing is solid. It is coiling its muscles, building potential energy like a drawn bowstring, preparing to release it all in one explosive burst of kinetic joy. It is the calibration of power. Visualize this build-up of energy, but instead of a pounce, imagine it as a release of tension from your own body. You're grounding yourself, wiggling your toes, feeling the solidity of the bed beneath you. You're checking your foundation, and then you release. You let go of the arrow. But there is no violence here, only the playful arc of the pounce, the joy of movement, the satisfaction of the capture. It is a reminder that even in stillness there is potential, and that play is a vital part of the soul's survival. After the exertion of the hunt, the cat seeks water, and here too we find a marvel of nature that defies simple explanation. Watch the cat approach a bowl of cool, clear water. Unlike a dog which scoops water up with its tongue like a ladle, the cat performs a delicate act of hydrodynamics. It extends its tongue, curling the tip backward, and barely touches the surface of the liquid. It then retracts the tongue at a blinding speed, 4 times per second. This rapid motion creates a column of water, pulled upward by inertia, defying gravity for a split second. The cat snaps its jaws shut at the precise moment the water column is in mid-air, trapping it before it falls back down. It is a battle between inertia and gravity, fought and won with every single lap. It is elegant, precise, and surprisingly dry. Imagine the cool, refreshing sensation of water. Visualize a column of crystal clear liquid rising to meet you, an offering of hydration and life. It is effortless. You do not need to scoop or strain. You simply need to be in the right rhythm, and the nourishment will come to you. Listen to the rhythmic lap, lap, lap sound, a metronome of sustenance that quiets the thirst of the spirit, calming the throat, cooling the body from the inside out. Refreshed and hydrated, the cat seeks to re-establish its place in the social order, not through dominance, but through the mingling of essence. You may have felt a cat bump its head gently against your shin or rub its cheek along the corner of a wall. This is known as bunting. It is far more than a gesture of affection. It is a chemical claim. Cats have scent glands located around their mouth, chin, cheeks, and forehead. When they rub against you, they are depositing their own pheromones, leaving a trail that says, "This is mine, this is safe, this is family." They're creating a group scent, a communal olfactory atmosphere that binds the household together. By marking you, they're accepting you into their colony, wrapping you in an invisible cloak of belonging. Visualize this invisible aura surrounding you. You're marked by love. You're claimed by comfort. The friction of the soft fur against your skin is a transfer of peace. Imagine you are weaving your own scent into the fabric of the night, blending with the universe, becoming part of a greater whole. There is no separation here. There is only the shared atmosphere of the sanctuary, where everyone smells of safety and home. Finally, we drift down to the paws, those soft, tufted instruments of silence, to examine a vestige of their climbing ancestors, the dew claw. Located slightly higher up on the front legs, seemingly disconnected from the other toes, sits this fifth digit. It is the cat's thumb. While it does not touch the ground when they walk, it is the key to their vertical mastery. When a cat leaps up a tree or scales a scratching post, it is the dew claw that hooks in, providing the necessary grip to hoist the body upward. It is the tool of ascension. Think of the dexterity hidden within the velvet paw. These claws are retractable, kept sharp by their sheath, ready to hold on when the world gets steep. But tonight, they are sheathed. They are tucked away, useless and unnecessary in the horizontal realm of sleep. Visualize the tension leaving your own hands. Your claws are retracted. You have no mountain to climb tonight, no wall to scale. You can let your grip soften. Open your palms to the ceiling, releasing whatever you have been holding onto so tightly. The dew claw rests, and so do you. The tools of work are put away. The need to climb, to strive, to pull yourself higher is suspended. You're already where you need to be, grounded, soft, and resting on the velvet pads of existence, drifting slowly toward the next horizon of our journey. As we rest in the stillness of the dew claw's retreat, our attention curls softly inward, moving to the underside of the paw, to the quiet, cushioned foundation of the cat's existence. Here we find the paw pads, those exquisite clusters of tough, rubbery skin that act as the shock absorbers for the soul. Visualize these pads, perhaps pink as bubblegum, black as licorice, or a mottled mix of both. They are known affectionately as toe beans, yet they are marvels of biological engineering. Thick enough to withstand rough terrain and hot pavement, yet sensitive enough to detect the faintest tremor in the earth. Imagine pressing your thumb gently into one of these pads. It yields like firm memory foam, then springs back. This cushioning allows the cat to move in absolute silence, dampening the sound of impact, absorbing the noise of the world before it can be made. But there is a secret hidden within this thick skin. These pads are the only place on the cat's body where they have sweat glands. When a cat is nervous, it leaves tiny, damp footprints, releasing the heat of its anxiety into the ground. Visualize your own feet resting on a surface of cool, soft moss. Imagine that you too have these shock absorbers. With every step you take in your mind, the impact is softened, the jarring noise of life muffled. You're walking on cushions of air, protected from the harshness of the ground, leaving no trace but a faint, warm impression of your presence. From the cushioned silence of the pads, we observe the posture of the standing cat, and we realize a profound truth about their elegance. They are walking on their tiptoes. This form of locomotion is called being digitigrade. Unlike humans who stomp through the world on flat feet, grounding the heavy heel with every step, the cat's heel is elevated, floating high above the ground, effectively becoming part of the leg. They walk permanently poised, lifted, ready to spring or to dance. Visualize the grace of a ballerina who never comes down from on point. This is the natural state of the cat. By lengthening the leg and reducing the surface area that touches the earth, they achieve a stride that is both energy efficient and explosively powerful. It creates the illusion of weightlessness, as if they are merely skimming the surface of reality. Allow this sensation of lightness to enter your own legs. Feel your heavy heels lifting, not physically, but energetically. The weight of your day, often carried in the heavy tread of the feet, dissolves. You're no longer dragging the past behind you. You are poised on the precipice of the dream, light, airy, and ready to float. The ground is not a burden, it is a springboard. Drifting up the leg from the toes, we encounter a secret sense, a hidden array of senses that most overlook. On the back of the front legs, just above the paw, sits a cluster of stiff hairs known as carpal vibrissae. These are leg whiskers. While the face whiskers map the width of a tunnel, these leg whiskers map the texture of the prey and the ground beneath. They are the tactile eyes of the limbs. Imagine a cat hunting in the tall grass. It cannot see what is directly under its chin or between its front paws, for its muzzle blocks the view. But it does not need to see. The carpal whiskers feel the slightest movement of a mouse or a beetle, sensing the vibrations of life against the leg. They act as a net of awareness, ensuring that nothing escapes the cat's grasp once it is close. Visualize having this kind of sensory clarity in your own hands and arms, an intuitive knowing that does not require sight. You can feel your way through the darkness of the night, guided by a tactile wisdom that transcends logic. You do not need to see the path clearly to know you are holding on to something real. You're connected to the world through 1,000 invisible threads of sensation. As our gaze travels upward along the sleek flank, we arrive at the soft, swaying underbelly of the cat. You may have noticed a loose flap of skin that swings gently as they trot, a pouch that hangs low even on the leanest of felines. This is not a sign of weight. It is the primordial pouch, an ancient suit of armour gifted by their wild ancestors. This extra skin serves a vital triple purpose. It protects the vulnerable internal organs during a scuffle. It allows the stomach to expand after a large meal, and most importantly, it grants the cat limitless flexibility. Watch the cat leap, its body stretching into a long, magnificent line. The pouch unfurls, allowing the back legs to extend fully without pulling on the skin of the belly. It is the fabric of freedom. Without this looseness, the cat would be restricted, tight and bound. Imagine this primordial pouch as a metaphor for your own need for softness. In a world that demands we be hard, rigid and tight, the cat teaches us the value of the sway. Visualize your own breath softening your belly, releasing the tightness of the solar plexus. Let your pouch be soft. Let there be room for expansion, for movement, for the deep, unstructured breath of sleep. You are safe enough to be soft. This flexibility brings us to the architecture of the spine, the central suspension bridge of the cat's body. While a human spine is a relatively rigid column designed for upright stability, the cat's spine is a loose fluid chain of over 50 vertebrae compared to our 33. Each bone is connected loosely, with extra cushioning discs that allow for rotation we can only dream of. A cat can twist its body 180 degrees, facing its tail while its front paws face forward. They are master contortionists, liquid creatures who refuse to be broken by stiffness. Visualize the spine of the cat as a string of pearls, not pulled tight, but draped loosely. Now imagine your own spine adopting this quality. Feel the vertebrae in your neck, your upper back, your lumbar region, gently separating, creating space between the bones. The stiffness of sitting, standing, and holding yourself up all day begins to melt. You're becoming fluid. You can curl into a ball or stretch out until you're long and thin. There is no tension holding you in a rigid shape. You're unlearning the stiffness of the statue and relearning the flow of the river. Your back is a wave, rolling gently into the shore of the mattress. When the cat is done stretching this magnificent spine, it often settles into a shape that is universally recognized as the epitome of peace, the loaf. Watch as the cat tucks its front paws neatly under its chest, lowers its head, and pulls its back legs in, transforming into a compact rectangular brick of fur. This is meat loafing. It is a posture of thermal conservation and total safety. By tucking in all the extremities, the cat minimizes heat loss, turning its body into a self-contained furnace. But beyond the thermodynamics, the loaf signifies a lack of threat. A cat in this position cannot spring into action instantly. It has tucked away its weapons and its landing gear. It is a statement of trust in the environment. "I do not need to run," the cat says. "I do not need to fight." Visualize yourself curling into your own version of the loaf. Pull your energy back from the edges of the room. Call back your worries from the future and the past. Tuck them underneath you. Wrap yourself in your own warmth. You're a self-contained unit of peace, a compact vessel of rest floating on the surface of the night. There is nothing to do but exist and be warm. And speaking of warmth, we must acknowledge the cat's relationship with the sun. The domestic cat is a descendant of the African wildcat, a creature of the desert sands. This heritage is written in their blood, which runs hotter than ours. A cat's normal body temperature ranges between 101 and 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit. They are literal hot-blooded creatures. This is why you find them seeking out the sliver of sunlight on the rug, the top of the warm computer tower, or the radiator. They are heat-seeking missiles, constantly refueling their internal fire. Imagine you are lying on a warm rock in the middle of a vast ancient desert. The sun is gentle, a golden blanket that penetrates deep into your muscles. You do not need to generate your own heat. The universe provides it for you. The cat teaches us to seek out the sources of warmth in our lives, to gravitate toward the light, to rest in the places that recharge us. Feel a phantom warmth spreading through your chest, radiating out to your fingertips. You're absorbing the solar energy of the dream world, banking the fire for the night, glowing with a gentle internal combustion of comfort. As the sun sets in the desert of our mind, the cat does not go to sleep as we do. Instead, it enters its magical hour. Cats are not truly nocturnal. They are crepuscular. This word, rolling off the tongue like a shadow, means they are most active during the twilight hours of dawn and dusk. In the wild, this is when the world is grey, when the predators and the prey are shifting shifts. It is the time of the in-between. Visualize the world at twilight. The harsh lines of the day have softened into blurriness. The colours are muted purples and indigos. This is the cat's domain. They are the guardians of the threshold, the watchers of the transition. While we struggle with the grogginess of the morning or the fatigue of the evening, the cat is alert, alive, and dancing with the shadows. Let this concept soothe you if you find yourself waking in the night. Do not fight the darkness. Accept the crepuscular rhythm. Imagine you are merely drifting through the twilight, floating in the grey, soft space between awake and asleep. It is a magical time, a time of quiet power. You're safe in the shadows, watched over by the masters of the half-light. To navigate this dim world, the cat possesses a visual superpower, peripheral vision. While humans focus intently on what is directly in front of us, a tunnel vision of distinct details, the cat sees the world in a panorama. Their field of view spans 200 degrees compared to our 180. They see the corners of the room, the movement at the edge of the eye, the things that are almost not there. They are masters of the side eye. This wide-angle lens allows them to detect threats or opportunities without ever turning their head. It is a passive awareness, a state of soft eyes. Try to adopt this vision now behind your closed eyelids. Instead of focusing on a single thought or image, let your mind's eye widen. Take in the whole darkness at once. See the edges of your consciousness. Let the thoughts drift by in your peripheral vision without turning to look at them directly. You are the observer of the panorama, watching the stream of dreams flow past you, seeing everything but grasping nothing. It is a state of expansive, unfocused peace. Finally, as the cat's eyes begin to close, we catch a glimpse of a fleeting, milky film sliding across the surface of the gaze. This is the nictitating membrane, or the third eyelid. Hidden at the inner corner of the eye, this translucent shield sweeps across the cornea to moisten and protect it, moving diagonally like a windshield wiper. It is a remnant of a time when they needed to protect their vision while moving through tall, scratching grass, or to keep their eyes open during a sandstorm. Often, when a cat is in deep bliss, sleepy and content, this third eyelid will become visible, a soft veil drawn halfway across the window of the soul. It is the curtain calling an end to the show. Visualize this membrane as a shield for your own mind. Imagine a soft, translucent veil sliding gently over your inner vision, protecting you from the harsh glare of memories or the sting of tomorrow's to-do list. It wipes the slate clean. It moistens the dry, tired eyes of your spirit. Let the third eyelid close. Let the curtain fall. You're protected, shielded, and ready to descend into the deep, hydrated silence of the well of sleep. As the translucent veil of the third eyelid lowers, sealing the feline mind from the visual demands of the waking world, we follow the cat down, deeper into the rabbit hole of slumber. It is here, in this submerged state, that we witness the phenomenon of the dream. You may have seen it before. The cat is fast asleep, yet the body is alive with microscopic movement. The whiskers twitch like antennae catching a distant signal. The paws paddle softly against the fabric of the sofa, as if running through a field of tall, silent grass. This is rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, a state that cats enter about 20 minutes after drifting off. Scientists tell us that the brainwaves of a dreaming cat are almost indistinguishable from those of a dreaming human. They are not merely resting, they are visiting an alternate reality. In this internal cinema, they are likely replaying the hunt, chasing phantom mice, or stalking through the jungles of their memory. Visualize the vividness of their dreamscape, a world where every scent is sharp, every leap is perfect, and gravity is a suggestion rather than a law. Imagine yourself slipping into this same frequency. Your body is heavy and still, anchored to the bed, but your mind is free to roam the vast green meadows of the imagination. You're running without effort, breathing without shortness, exploring a world built entirely of your own comfort and desires. The twitch of the cat's paw is a signal to you. The body rests so the spirit can play. Eventually the dream fades, and the cat begins the slow, luxurious process of returning to the surface. This transition is marked by a ritual that is the envy of yogis everywhere, the great stretch. The scientific term for this act is pandiculation. It is not merely stretching the limbs, it is a full system reboot. Watch the cat as it rouses. It does not jump up and rush into the day. First, it extends the front legs forward, bowing deep, arching the spine like a drawn bow. Then, it shifts the weight forward, extending the back legs one by one, shaking out the stiffness until every muscle fibre has been elongated and awakened. This act resets the central nervous system, flushing out the metabolic waste that accumulates during stillness and preparing the muscles for action. It is deliberate, mindful engagement with the physical form. Visualize yourself performing this act of pandiculation in your mind. Imagine stretching your mental limbs, reaching out to the furthest corners of your consciousness and then releasing. Feel the tension in your lower back dissolving as you mentally arch and lengthen. You're unkinking the knots of the day, extending your spirit until it takes up all the space it needs. The cat teaches us that we should never rush the transition from rest to motion. We must honour the vessel we inhabit, waking it up slowly, muscle by muscle, with patience and grace. As the cat settles back down from its stretch, perhaps curling into a new position, our hands are drawn to the incredible texture of its coat. To touch a cat is to touch a marvel of insulation. Most cats possess a double coat, a sophisticated layering system designed by nature to regulate temperature and repel the elements. The top layer consists of guard hairs. These are longer, coarser, and often glossy. They act as a raincoat and a windbreaker, shedding water and blocking the sun's ultraviolet rays. They are the shield. But if you bury your fingers deep into the fur past this outer shell, you find the undercoat. This is the downy, crimped, soft fuzz that lies close to the skin. It traps air, creating a pocket of warmth that insulates the cat from both the freezing cold and the blistering heat. It is a personal microclimate. Imagine being wrapped in such a coat, a blanket that breathes with you, keeping you perfectly thermostated regardless of the storms raging outside. Visualize this sensation of being insulated from the world. Imagine a layer of soft, downy energy surrounding your body, trapping your own warmth, buffering you from the cold winds of stress or the scorching heat of urgency. You are cocooned in safety, protected by a double layer of comfort that nothing can penetrate. This coat, with its millions of hairs, is also a generator of a mysterious and spark-filled force, static electricity. We have all felt it, the sudden, sharp snap when petting a cat in the dry air of winter, sometimes accompanied by a tiny blue spark visible in the dark. The cat's fur is an incredible conductor, an accumulator of electrostatic energy. Because the fur is so dry and fine, the friction of your hand strips electrons, building up a charge until it releases. To the ancients, this was not physics, it was magic. It was proof that the cat carried the sparks of the gods within its skin. Even today, watching the fur stand on end, drawn to your hand by an invisible magnetic force, feels like interacting with a living battery. Visualize this energy not as a shock, but as a current of connection. Imagine that you are brushing away the static of your own mind. With every stroke of the imaginary fur, you're discharging the built-up tension, the erratic sparks of anxiety. They snap and disappear into the ether, leaving you grounded, neutral, and calm. The static clears, leaving only the smooth, sleek silence of the night. Drifting from the flank to the ears again, we notice a specific detail we may have overlooked before: the furnishings. This is the delightful term for the tufts of fur that grow inside the ears and sprout from the tips. While they add to the cat's aesthetic beauty, giving them the look of a wild lynx or a wise old sage, these hairs serve a critical protective function. They are the gatekeepers of the ear canal. These tufts act as a filtration system, catching dust, dirt and debris before they can enter the sensitive inner ear. But more impressively, they act as wind baffles. Just as a fuzzy cover on a microphone blocks out the roar of the wind so the voice can be heard, these ear furnishings dampen the sound of air rushing past the cat's head, allowing them to hear the precise snap of a twig even in a gale. Visualize yourself possessing these wind baffles. Imagine you can filter out the wind of the world, the meaningless chatter, the noise of traffic, the roar of opinions. The furnishings of your mind catch the dust and dampen the roar, allowing only the sounds that matter, the rhythm of peace, the voice of wisdom, the sound of silence, to enter your sanctuary. You're insulated from the noise, hearing only the quiet truth of the moment. From the ears, we move down to the sensitive whiskers again, but this time to understand a source of hidden stress and a lesson in sensitivity known as whisker fatigue. The whiskers are not just hairs, they are touch receptors wired directly to the brain. Because they are so incredibly sensitive, Constantly brushing them against the sides of a deep food bowl can be overwhelming. It creates a sensory overload, a barrage of unnecessary signals that feels like a constant irritating buzzing. This is often why a cat will pull food out of a bowl to eat it on the flat floor. They are seeking relief. They are creating space. Think of whisker fatigue as a metaphor for our modern overstimulation. We too are constantly brushing against the sides of the bowl. The notifications, the screens, the crowds, the lights. We get overloaded. The cat teaches us the solution. Find a flat surface. Remove the boundaries. Give your senses room to breathe. Visualize yourself stepping out of the cramping box of your daily routine and onto a wide, open plain. There is nothing pressing against you. Your whiskers, your nerves, are free to extend fully without touching a wall. The pressure is gone. You're eating from the floor of the universe where there is infinite space and zero friction. In this open space, the cat lifts its gaze to a window where a bird flits across the glass. Suddenly the jaw begins to move rapidly and a strange chattering sound emerges. Ek, ek, ek. This is the chatter, a vocalization distinct from the meow or the purr. It is a sound of intense focus and perhaps frustration. But biologists have a fascinating theory. It is mimicry. In the wild, certain felines mimic the calls of their prey to lure them closer. The house cat, seeing the bird, may be instinctively trying to speak its language, to draw the prize into its grasp. It is a moment of pure projection, where the cat is so fixated on the object of its desire that it tries to become it. Watch the intensity in the cat's eyes. The rest of the room has ceased to exist. There is only the bird and the chatter. While we seek relaxation, we can admire this power of concentration. Imagine being able to focus your mind with that laser-like precision, not on a bird, but on the concept of sleep. Imagine chattering softly to the darkness, mimicking the heavy, slow rhythm of the night until you become one with it. You are luring sleep closer, speaking its language, vibrating at its frequency until the glass between you and the dream dissolves. But before the final descent into deep sleep, there is often one last explosive release of energy. You know it as the zoomies. The scientific name is frenetic random activity periods, or FRAPs. Suddenly, without warning, the cat becomes a blur of motion, tearing down the hallway, ricocheting off the sofa, eyes wide and wild. To the uninitiated, it looks like madness, but to the cat it is a necessary physiological dump. They are predators built for bursts of high energy. If they have spent the day sleeping, that potential energy accumulates in their muscles like static charge. The zoomies are the discharge. It is the body's way of shaking out the last of the restlessness to ensure that the next sleep is deep and true. Visualize this not as chaos, but as a cleansing. Imagine your own mind doing a set of zoomies. Let your thoughts run wild for a moment. Let them bounce off the walls, sprint down the corridors of your brain, and exhaust themselves. Do not suppress the energy. Let it run its course. Watch the frantic thoughts sprint until they are panting and tired, and then watch them collapse. The energy is spent. The system is clear. The silence that follows the zoomies is the deepest silence of all. In the aftermath of the energy release, the cat collapses onto the rug and slowly, deliberately, rolls over onto its back, exposing its soft, furry belly to the room. This is the belly-up position. In the language of instincts, this is the ultimate gamble. The stomach is the most vulnerable part of the feline anatomy, housing all the vital organs beneath soft skin without the protection of ribs. In the wild, a predator would never expose this area unless they felt completely, undeniably safe. To see a cat sleeping belly up is to witness a creature that has transcended fear. It is saying, "I trust this world. I trust you. Nothing will harm me here." Visualize this posture of surrender. Imagine uncurling your own body, physically or metaphorically. Uncross your arms, unclench your gut, open your heart center to the ceiling. Expose your vulnerabilities to the safety of the night. You're in a sanctuary where no armor is needed. You can afford to be soft. You can afford to be open. Let the breath flow deep into your belly, rising and falling without restriction, celebrating the profound luxury of being completely safe. As we gaze at this trusting creature, let us drift back to the very beginning of its life, to a fact that colours the dawn of every feline existence. When a kitten is born, its eyes are sealed shut, but when they finally open, they are always, without exception, blue. It does not matter if the cat will grow up to have eyes of emerald, copper, or gold. In the beginning, they are the colour of a hazy sky. This is because the melanin, the pigment that colours the eyes, has not yet been activated by light. They enter the world carrying the colour of the void, the neutral, soft blue of potential. It takes weeks for the true colour to settle in, for the world to paint its impression upon them. Visualise this innocent, nebulous blue. It is the colour of a blank slate. It is the colour of your mind before the thoughts of the day begin to crowd in. Return to that kitten state of potential. Imagine your inner vision clearing, the specific colours of your worries fading away, leaving only a soft, cloudy blue. You are waiting for the light. You are new. You are beginning again. Float in this blue mist, this pre-pigmented state of purity, where nothing has been decided yet, and everything is soft, hazy, and full of peace. And so, drifting on this cloud of kitten blue light, we move seamlessly to the tips of the paws, to a hidden mechanism that defines the feline stealth. We speak now of the retractable claw. Unlike the dog, whose claws are always out, tapping a rhythm on the pavement, the cat carries its weapons in secret sheaths. This is not just for sharpness, it is for silence. A ligament holds the claw retracted in a passive state. It takes muscle effort to extend them. Therefore, the natural state of the cat, the default setting, is harmlessness. Peace is their baseline. Aggression requires effort. Imagine the profound wisdom in this anatomy. To be sharp, to scratch, to fight requires energy and tension. To be soft, to have the claws put away, is to be at rest. Visualize your own defenses as retractable claws. You may have needed them during the day to climb the corporate ladder or defend your boundaries, but now, in the velvet dark, you can let the ligament relax. Feel the claws of your personality sliding back into their sheaths. You're no longer armed. You're smooth, silent, and soft. You cannot scratch, and you cannot be scratched. You're simply a velvet paw, moving quietly through the landscape of the dream, leaving no mark, making no sound, fully retracted into a state of harmless, peaceful being. With the claws fully sheathed and the spirit resting in a state of harmless grace, we linger a moment longer on the velvet paws, discovering a subtle secret hidden in the way they touch the earth. Just as you favour your right hand or your left, reaching out instinctively to open a door or hold a cup, the cat possesses a dominant paw. This is the phenomenon of lateralization. It is a preference written into the neurology of the brain, a tendency for one side of the body to lead the dance of life. Studies suggest a fascinating divide. Male cats often lead with their left paw, while female cats tend to favour their right. Visualize a cat standing at the edge of a new day, preparing to take the first step. Watch closely as the shoulder shifts, the weight transfers, and that dominant paw lifts to test the ground. It is an act of unconscious decision-making, a reliance on a specific channel of strength. Imagine this in your own body, the side of you that feels stronger, the hand that grasps the world. Now, imagine balancing that strength. In the dream world, there is no need for dominance. Both sides are equal. You can walk with the left, you can reach with the right. You are perfectly symmetrical. The cat teaches us that while we may have preferences in the waking world, in the state of rest, we are balanced, ambidextrous souls floating in the centre of our own being. Sometimes, nature decides that the standard design of the paw is simply not enough, and it gifts the cat with an abundance of toes. We drift now to the charming anomaly of the polydactyl cat. While most cats possess 18 toes, 5 on each front paw and 4 on the back, these special beings can have far more, their paws looking like large, soft mittens or snowshoes. Often found in the sleepy, sun-drenched islands of the Florida Keys, descendants of the cats beloved by the writer Ernest Hemingway, they carry a legacy of extra grounding. Sailors once considered them good luck, believing their large paws helped them balance better on the rocking decks of ships in stormy seas. Visualize these magnificent, oversized paws pressing into the soft earth. There is more surface area, more velvet to touch the world, more stability to hold onto the deck of the ship as the waves roll. Think of them as anchors. Imagine your own paws becoming larger, wider, spreading out to cover more ground. You're not teetering on a narrow base. You're standing on a foundation that is wide and unshakable. You have extra toes to grip the fabric of the dream, ensuring that no matter how deep you drift or how high the waves of sleep rise, you will not slip. You are held fast by the lucky mitten-like grip of the polydactyl spirit. From this solid foundation, the cat defies the very laws that hold us down. We transition from the ground to the air, contemplating the miracle of the vertical leap. A healthy cat can jump up to 6 times its own height in a single bound. To put this in perspective, imagine a human standing still and then effortlessly leaping onto the roof of a 2-story house. This is not merely strength, it is a momentary rejection of gravity. The cat compresses its body like a coiled spring, gathering every ounce of potential energy, and then releases it in an explosive, elegant upward trajectory. In that moment of suspension, at the apex of the jump, the cat is weightless. It is a creature of the air, not the earth. Visualize that sensation of effortless ascension. You're not climbing a ladder, struggling rung by rung. You're simply deciding to be higher, and your spirit follows. Feel the heaviness of your body dissolving. Gravity, which usually pulls you down into the mattress, reverses its polarity. You're floating upward, light as a feather, clearing the obstacles of the day in one smooth, silent bound. You're hovering in the high places, looking down on the world with the detached, serene perspective of the cat on the high shelf. But no matter how far they roam or how high they jump, the cat always knows the way back. We explore now the mystery of the homing instinct, sometimes called sigh trailing. There are countless stories of cats who, separated from their families, have travelled hundreds of miles across unknown terrain to find their way home. Scientists believe that, much like migratory birds, cats may possess a sensitivity to the Earth's magnetic fields. Trace amounts of iron in their inner ears or brain tissues may act as an internal compass, aligning them with the magnetic north, guiding them invisibly toward their true north, their sanctuary. Imagine possessing this internal compass. It is a silver cord that connects you to your place of safety, no matter how lost you feel in the wilderness of life. You do not need a map. You do not need to see the road. You simply need to trust the pull in your chest, the magnetic resonance of home. Visualize a golden thread extending from your heart, stretching across the miles, anchored firmly to the place where you are most loved and most safe. You can wander into the deepest dreams, explore the furthest galaxies of your mind, and never be truly lost. The cat's compass is within you, gently, silently guiding you back to your center, back to the hearth, back to yourself. This ability to survive against the odds extends deep into their physiology, back to their ancestors who roamed the arid deserts. We turn our gaze to the incredible efficiency of the feline kidney. The domestic cat evolved from desert dwellers who had little access to fresh water. As a result, their bodies became masters of hydration efficiency. Their kidneys are so powerful, so adept at filtering out impurities and concentrating urine, that a cat can, in dire circumstances, drink salt water to rehydrate, a feat that would perish a human. They can extract the water of life from the ocean itself. Visualize this purification system. Imagine your body possessing the ability to filter out the salt, the bitterness, the toxicity, the overwhelming emotions of the day, and extract only the pure, clear water of wisdom. You're drinking from the sea of experience, but you're not poisoned by it. You're taking what you need, refining it, and letting the rest go. You're a vessel of purity. Like the desert cat, you are designed to thrive even when the environment is harsh. You're self-sustaining, efficient, and capable of finding sustenance where others see only wasteland. Let this resilience wash over you, flushing out the toxins of stress, leaving only the clear, cool hydration of peace. As they filter the world, they also taste it with a palate that is distinctly different from our own. We move to the tongue and the concept of the savoury life. Genetic studies have revealed that cats lack the gene to taste sweetness. They have no sweet tooth. While we chase the sugar rush, the highs and lows of candy and confection, the cat is unmoved by such things. They are obligate carnivores, driven by the need for protein, for this savoury essence of meat. Their world is one of umami, of deep, rich, substantial flavours. There is a zen-like simplicity to this. They are not distracted by the empty calories of life. They do not crave the artificial sweetness that fades quickly. They seek only what nourishes them deeply. Visualize stripping away the sugar of your own life, the distractions, the superficial entertainments, the fleeting highs. What remains is the protein, the substance, the truth. Imagine resting in a state of savoury satisfaction. You do not need to chase the next dopamine hit. You're content with the rich, grounding nourishment of sleep. You are focused, like the cat, on the essential, the primal, and the real. This focus on the essential often leads them to seek out the simplest of sanctuaries, the cardboard box. We have all smiled at the sight of a cat squeezing itself into a box that seems far too small, or abandoning an expensive bed for the packaging it came in. This is not foolishness. It is an instinct for security. In the wild, open spaces are dangerous. A predator can approach from any side. But a box is a fortress. It has walls that hug the body. It reduces the number of angles the cat must monitor. It is a form of deep pressure therapy. The sensation of the walls pressing against their fur releases endorphins, calming the nervous system. Visualize yourself climbing into your own box of safety. It is not cramping, it is embracing. Imagine the walls of your room or the blankets wrapped tight around you as this protective container. The world is shut out. The vastness of the universe is reduced to a cozy, manageable cubic foot of space where you are the master. You are held. You are contained. There is no need to watch your back, for the walls are guarding you. Sink into this feeling of being hugged by your environment, secure in the knowledge that nothing can reach you in your fortress. From the safety of the box, the cat may open its mouth to speak, but sometimes no sound comes out. This is the silent meow. You see the mouth open, the throat move, the eyes plead, but silence reigns. Or so it seems. In reality, the cat is likely making a sound, but it is at a frequency so high, so ultrasonic, that the human ear cannot register it. It is a secret whisper, a communication intended for a realm beyond our perception. It serves as a reminder that there are layers of reality occurring right now that we cannot perceive. There are songs being sung in the silence. Visualize this silent meow as a prayer or a wish sent out into the universe. You do not need to shout to be heard. You do not need to make noise to have presence. Your silent intentions, your quiet hopes, the peaceful rhythm of your heart. These are all heard by the cosmos. Imagine your breath as a silent meow, a rhythm of life that vibrates in the air, undetectable but profound. You're communicating peace to the room without saying a word. As the silent meow fades, the cat settles down for the long sleep, arranging its body into a perfect geometry. The circle. The nose tucks under the tail, the spine curves into a continuous loop, and the paws disappear into the centre. This is the donut position. It is the most thermally efficient shape in nature. By minimising the surface area exposed to the cool air, the cat creates a closed circuit of warmth. But it is also a shape of spiritual completion. The circle has no beginning and no end. It is the symbol of eternity, of the cycle of the sun and moon, of the seasons. Visualize your own energy field forming this circle. Imagine connecting your head to your heart, your thoughts to your feelings, closing the loop. You're no longer leaking energy out into the world. You're a self-sustaining ring of light. The warmth you generate stays within you, circulating round and round, growing deeper and richer. You're a perfect sphere of comfort, rolling gently through the star-studded sky of the dream world, complete and whole. Finally, we gaze upon the coat of the sleeping cat and contemplate the mystery of the calico and the tortoise shell. These cats, with their patchwork coats of orange, black and white, are almost always female. This is because the gene for orange fur and the gene for black fur are both carried on the X chromosome. To have both colours at once, a cat generally needs 2 X chromosomes. Therefore, these multicoloured tapestries are the daughters of the species, carrying the complexity of the genetic code in every strand of fur. Each patch of colour represents a different genetic expression, a biological mosaic. No 2 calicos are ever exactly alike. Their patterns are as random and beautiful as clouds drifting across the sky. Visualize this patchwork quilt. Imagine that you too are a mosaic of all your experiences, your memories, your dreams. You're not one flat colour. You're a complex, beautiful arrangement of light and shadow, joy and rest. Like the calico, you are a unique masterpiece of nature. Wrap yourself in this quilt of many colours. Let the orange warmth of the sun, the black velvet of the night, and the white purity of the moon cover you. You're a complex universe wrapped in soft fur, drifting into the deep, feminine, nurturing embrace of the mother night. Wrapped in the comforting patchwork quilt of the calico's coat, we drift deeper into the mysteries of the fur itself, discovering a secret hidden within the very pigments of the feline form. While the calico wears her colours openly, there is a phantom pattern that exists in nearly every cat, often invisible to the naked eye until the light strikes it just so. This is the presence of the ghost tabby. Genetics tell us that all cats possess the DNA for stripes. The agouti gene, which determines whether a cat's coat has a ticked banded pattern, is the canvas upon which all other colours are painted. Even the sleekest, solid black cat, the miniature panther of your living room, is, at heart, a tabby. Visualize a solid black cat sleeping in a pool of bright afternoon sunlight. As the golden rays penetrate the dense obsidian fur, you may see faint rusty reddish stripes appearing on the flank or the tail. These are the ghost stripes, the ancestral markings shining through the overlay of solid colour. It is a reminder that nothing is ever truly one-dimensional. Just as the cat hides its stripes beneath a cloak of darkness, we too have layers of identity, history and strength that are not always visible on the surface. Imagine your own hidden strengths, your own ghost stripes, glowing softly when the light of awareness shines upon them. You're more complex, more textured, and more beautiful than a single glance can reveal. You carry the ancient patterns of your ancestors, the hidden resilience of your past, wrapped in the velvet of the present moment. Resting our gaze upon the cat's forehead, right between the eyes and slightly above, we often find a very specific manifestation of these tabby markings, the distinct letter M. This intricate arrangement of stripes is a hallmark of the tabby pattern, etched like a crown upon the brow. Throughout history, humanity has sought to interpret this mark, weaving legends to explain its persistence. In the sands of the Middle East, it is said that the Prophet Muhammad, grateful to a cat that saved him from a venomous snake, stroked its forehead, leaving the initial of his name as a mark of divine protection. In the cool stone mangers of the Christian tradition, it is whispered that a tabby cat climbed into the crib to warm the baby Jesus when the ox and mule could not, and the Virgin Mary marked its forehead with an M for her gratitude. But even without the legends, the mark serves as a focal point for our meditation. Visualize tracing the lines of this M with your mind's eye. It stands for mystery, for magic, for the moon. It is a natural sigil of wisdom. Imagine gently pressing your thumb against this spot on the cat's forehead, the third eye chakra. It is a place of connection. As you visualize this contact, Feel the tension in your own forehead smoothing out, the furrows of worry, the lines of concentration, the tightness between your eyebrows. Let them all dissolve. You're marked by the same peace. You're crowned with the same quiet dignity. The M is a seal of approval from the universe, a sign that you are protected, watched over, and allowed to rest your weary mind. From the forehead, we drift down to the mechanism of the jaw, a feature of elegant simplicity that defines the cat's interactions with the world. Unlike humans or cows whose jaws can grind side to side to masticate tough grains or vegetables, the cat's jaw is a pure vertical hinge. It moves only up and down. There is no lateral movement, no wavering. This anatomy is the design of a specialist, a creature built for the singular purpose of the precision bite. They do not grind their reality, they pierce it. They do not mull things over, they decide. This physiological limitation is actually a psychological strength. It represents a lack of equivocation. When a cat acts, it acts with alignment. Visualize this vertical motion, smooth, hinged, precise. Compare it to the side-to-side grinding of your own ruminating thoughts, the what-ifs, the maybes, the endless chewing on the past. Now, imagine locking your mental jaw into that vertical simplicity. You do not need to grind over the details of the day anymore. You can simply close the book, open and shut. The day is done. The decision to rest is made. There is no sideways motion, no wavering, only the clean, confident closing of the door on the waking world. You're aligned, efficient, and ready for the stillness of the void. This precision of the mouth leads us to a surprising vulnerability, a tiny blind spot that requires the cat to act on faith. Because of the shape of their muzzle and the placement of their large forward-facing eyes, cats cannot actually see what is directly beneath their nose. If you place a treat right under their chin, they may look around in confusion, unable to locate it visually. They are blind to the thing that is closest to them. To find the nourishment, they must switch off their reliance on sight and trust their other senses, the whiskers, the nose, the heat sensors. They must feel their way to the prize. It is a lesson in trusting the invisible. How often do we panic because we cannot see the solution that is right under our noses? The cat teaches us that sometimes vision is a hindrance. Sometimes we must close our eyes to find what we need. Visualize a treat, a nugget of golden peace, resting just beneath your chin in the blind spot of your mind. You cannot see it with your open eyes, but you can feel it. It is the warmth of the pillow. It is the rhythm of your heart. You do not need to look for it. You simply need to lower your head, surrender the need for visual confirmation, and accept the nourishment that is already there, waiting in the darkness. As the cat eats, or simply rests, we become aware of its profound affinity for heat. We have touched upon their desert origins, but the extent of their heat tolerance is a marvel of biology. A human might start to feel uncomfortable when the room temperature climbs, but a cat is merely getting started. Their comfort zone, the thermoneutral zone, is between 86 and 97 degrees Fahrenheit. This is why you will find them pressed dangerously close to the wood stove, or splayed out on hot pavement that would burn your feet. Their ancestors, the African wildcats, roamed the dunes where the sun was a hammer and the sand was a fire. Visualize the cat as a sponge for thermal energy. They do not just tolerate heat, they thrive in it. They absorb it into their bones, using it to relax their muscles so they do not have to spend their own metabolic energy keeping warm. Imagine you're lying on a slab of sun-warmed sandstone in a quiet, protected canyon. The stone is radiating a deep, penetrating heat that seeps into your back, your shoulders, your legs. It is a heavy, sedative warmth. You're a creature of the sun, and this heat is your battery charger. Let the imaginary temperature rise until it melts the frost of your anxiety, leaving you loose, liquid, and golden, baked into a state of total, blissful relaxation. This relaxation often takes the form of the famous cat nap, a phenomenon that gives us a glimpse into the efficiency of their rest. Cats are polyphasic sleepers, meaning they sleep in multiple bouts throughout the day rather than one long block. But what is truly remarkable is their ability to slide in and out of sleep with zero friction. A cat can be fully asleep, eyes shut, dreaming, and then, at the click of a can opener, be wide awake and running. Conversely, they can go from playing to sleeping in seconds. They do not struggle with insomnia. They do not lie awake worrying if they will fall asleep. They simply accept the moment. If the moment offers stillness, they take it. If the moment offers action, they take it. They do not carry the momentum of the previous state. Visualize this ability to drop the baggage of the moment. Imagine that sleep is not a distant shore you have to row towards, but a trapdoor right beneath your feet. You can slip through it instantly. You do not need a ritual. You do not need to try. You just need to stop. Let the catnap philosophy wash over you. There is no pressure to sleep for 8 hours. There is only the invitation to rest for this moment, and then the next, and the next, stringing together a necklace of perfect restful pearls. And when these creatures are young, gathered together in a heap of fur and tiny limbs, we call them by a name that evokes the very essence of comfort: a kindle. A group of kittens is not a pack or a herd, it is a kindle. The word comes from the Middle English kindlen, meaning to set on fire, to give birth to flame. It speaks of warmth, of new life, of the glowing embers in the hearth. Visualize a kindle of kittens sleeping in a basket. They're a single organism of heat, a pile of soft bellies, twitching ears and closed eyes. They are seeking the warmth of one another, inextricably tangled in a knot of trust. They do not know where one ends and the other begins. Imagine a small glowing ember of light in the centre of your chest. This is your internal kindle. It is soft, warm, and alive. It radiates a gentle heat that spreads outward to your ribs, your arms, your toes. You are holding a basket of pure, innocent life within you. Let the warmth of the kindle soothe the cold edges of your loneliness or fear. You are never truly alone. You carry the fire of life within, a constant glowing companion in the dark. Watching the mother cat move this kindle, we observe a reflex that is the ultimate symbol of surrender: the scruff response. When a mother cat picks up a kitten by the loose skin on the back of its neck, the kitten instantly goes limp. The tail curls up, the legs hang loose, and the body becomes passive. This is known as pinch-induced behavioural inhibition. It is a hardwired physiological switch that says, "I am being held, I am being moved, I do not need to struggle, I am safe." It is a profound biological agreement. The mother provides the transport, and the child provides the stillness. We too have a longing for this scruff response. We long to be held by something larger than ourselves, by the universe, by faith, by the flow of life, and to simply go limp. Visualize the sensation of a giant, gentle, cosmic hand lifting you by the scruff of your spirit. Feel the responsibility for your own motion being taken away. You do not need to drive the car right now. You do not need to steer. You're being carried. Let your legs dangle. Let your spine round. Let your mental muscles unlock. You're being transported to a safer place, and your only job is to surrender to the grip of the divine, to trust the carrier, and to be soft. This sensitivity to touch extends to the other end of the spine, to the base of the tail. You may have scratched a cat here and watched its reaction. The elevator butt, where the hindquarters rise up to meet your hand. This area is a superhighway of nerve endings, a convergence of sensation. For the cat, this spot is hard to reach on their own, so when you scratch it, you are providing a service they cannot perform for themselves. It triggers a grooming reflex, a memory of being cleaned by their mother. The raising of the hips is an act of cooperation, a way of saying, "Yes, right there, more, please." It is an unashamed request for pleasure and relief. Visualize the release of tension in your own lower back, the sacral area where we often store the weight of our posture. Imagine a warm, soothing energy massaging this base of your spine, untangling the knots of nerves that have tightened during the day. You're allowed to enjoy the relief. You're allowed to lean into the comfort. Let the sensation travel up your spine, unlocking each vertebra, signaling to your entire nervous system that it is time to release, to lift off the weight, and to accept the grooming of the night. Finally, we drift back through the mists of history, far beyond the pyramids of Egypt, to the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea. It was here, in a Neolithic village dated to 9,500 years ago, that a grave was discovered. Inside, curled together in the eternal sleep of the earth, lay a human and a cat. This discovery rewrote history, proving that our bond with these creatures is thousands of years older than we once thought. Before we built the Sphinx, before we wrote in hieroglyphs, we were already sharing our lives and our deaths with the cat. The cat in the grave was an African wildcat, brought over on a boat, suggesting a deliberate, arduous journey to keep the companion close. Visualize that ancient burial site. The dust is silent, the stones are cool, but the image is one of eternal friendship. We have been walking this path together since the dawn of civilization. You are part of a lineage of dreamers who have found comfort in the presence of the feline. When you sleep tonight, you're not just sleeping with your pet, you're sleeping with an ancient spirit, a soul that has curled up beside humanity for 10 millennia. You're safe in this continuity. The bond is unbroken, the trust is absolute. The river of time flows on, but the cat remains the anchor, the soft, purring constant in the ever-changing story of our lives. From the ancient soil of Cyprus, where the bones of the first feline companion rest in eternal embrace with humanity, our spirit drifts upward, leaving the weight of the earth behind. We ascend through the atmosphere, past the clouds, climbing higher and higher until the sky turns from blue to the velvet black of the cosmos. Here, in the star-studded silence of space, we find the spirit of Felicet, the first and only cat to travel beyond our world. In October of 1963, this tuxedo-clad voyager, found on the streets of Paris, was launched into the great unknown aboard a Veronique rocket. Visualize the experience of this cosmic traveller. As the rocket ascended, the vibrations of the engine would have felt like the ultimate purr, a rumble shaking the very marrow of her bones. And then, silence, weightlessness. Imagine the sensation of floating in the capsule, the paws lifting from the floor, the tail drifting like seaweed in a current. For a few precious minutes she looked down upon the blue marble of Earth, seeing our world not as a territory to be marked, but as a single, glowing ball of yarn unravelling in the dark. She represents the adventurous spirit within every cat, the desire to climb to the highest shelf, to look down from the top of the refrigerator, to conquer the vertical realm. In your dreams tonight, allow yourself to float with Felicet. You are weightless, suspended in the safety of the void, looking down at your life from a great height, seeing it all as small, manageable, and beautiful. As we descend from the silence of space back to the atmosphere of the living room, we are greeted not by a roar, but by a sound much softer and more specific, the trill. It is a sound distinct from the meow and the purr, often described as a chirrup or a murrup. It is a bubbling musical noise, rising in pitch like a question. This is the sound a mother cat makes to tell her kittens to follow her, or the sound a cat makes when you walk through the door. It is the acoustic signature of happiness and greeting. Imagine the sound of a small, bubbling brook flowing over smooth stones. That is the texture of the trill. It is a vibration that starts deep in the throat and rolls forward, a joyful acknowledgement of presence. Unlike the meow, which is a plea for attention, the trill is a statement of togetherness. I am here, and you are here, and this is good. Visualize this sound as a small golden bubble floating in the air between you and the cat. It pops gently, releasing a scent of welcome. Let this sound ripple through your mind. It is an invitation to follow the cat into the comfort of the present moment, to leave the worries of the outside world at the door and follow the chirrup into the sanctuary of the heart. This invitation to closeness brings us to the sensation of touch, and specifically to a misunderstood gesture often called the love bite. You're stroking the soft fur, losing yourself in the rhythm of the pet, when suddenly the cat turns and gently nips your hand, or perhaps grabs your wrist with its paws. It is not aggression. It is a signal of overstimulation. We must remember that the cat is a creature of high sensitivity. Their skin is a web of nerves. Prolonged petting, while pleasant at first, can build up a static charge of sensation that eventually tips over into intensity. Think of it like being tickled. It starts as fun, but eventually the nerves scream, "Enough." The bite is the circuit breaker. It is the cat saying, "I love you, but my cup is full." Visualize this as a lesson in boundaries. The cat teaches us that even good things, attention, stimulation, connection, need a pause. They teach us to recognize when we are overstimulated, when the noise of the world has become too much, and to firmly but gently say, "Stop." Imagine identifying the love bites in your own life, the moments where you need to retreat, to break contact, and to return to your own center to discharge the excess energy. You're allowed to set that boundary. You're allowed to step back and reclaim your calm. From the sensitivity of the skin, we drift to the sensitivity of the ear, and to a specific silence that wraps around a unique kind of feline. We speak of the white cat with blue eyes. There is a profound genetic link between the coat of pure snow, the eyes of the summer sky, and the absence of sound. A significant percentage of white cats with blue eyes are born deaf. The same stem cells that determine the pigment of the fur and the eyes also develop the tiny hairs in the inner ear, the cochlea. When the pigment is absent, the hearing often fades with it. But do not mistake this for a disability. To the deaf white cat, the world is a symphony of vibration. They hear the footsteps on the floorboards through their paws. They hear the door closing by the change in air pressure against their whiskers. They live in a world of profound, uninterrupted silence. Visualize this state of being. Imagine a heavy white blanket of snow falling over your mind, dampening every sound. The honking cars, the buzzing phones, the chatter of voices, it all falls away. You're left in a pristine white quiet. In this silence, your other senses wake up. You feel the warmth of the sun more intensely. You see the movement of the shadows more clearly. You are wrapped in the peaceful, silent cotton of the white cat's world, where nothing needs to be heard, only felt. In contrast to the white cat's reflection of all light, we turn to the shadow walker, the creature that absorbs it, the black cat. Throughout history, they have been unfairly maligned as omens of bad luck, but science tells us a different story. The gene that causes melanism, the black coat, is not just a pigment choice, it is a suit of armor. Geneticists have discovered that the mutation causing the black fur is in the same family of genes that provides resistance to diseases like HIV in humans. The black cat is a genetic fortress. Their dark coat is a sign of a supercharged immune system, an evolutionary advantage that keeps them healthier and stronger. Visualize the black cat not as a spooky figure, but as a panther of protection. The darkness of their fur is not an absence of light, but a density of strength. Imagine wrapping yourself in this black velvet. It is a cloak of immunity. It shields you from the negativity of the world, absorbs the harsh glare of judgment, and leaves you hidden, healthy and potent in the shadows. You are invisible to the things that would harm you. You are the night itself, sleek, strong, and impenetrable. This protective quality brings to mind a specific talisman, a statue found in doorways across the world, waving its paw in an eternal greeting. We travel now to Japan, to the legend of the Maneki Neko, the beckoning cat. You have seen her, the calico or white cat sitting on her haunches, one paw raised near her ear, often holding a gold coin. The legend tells of a feudal lord who was standing under a tree during a storm. He looked up and saw a cat at a nearby temple, waving its paw as if inviting him inside. Curious, he left the shelter of the tree to approach the cat. Moments later, lightning struck the tree where he had just been standing. The cat had saved his life by beckoning him to a new path. Visualize this ceramic guardian sitting at the doorway of your own mind. Watch the rhythmic, hypnotic motion of the paw, up and down, up and down. It is beckoning you away from the storm of your thoughts. It is inviting you to step out from under the dangerous tree of stress and into the safety of the temple of sleep. Follow the paw, trust the invitation, step across the threshold into the quiet, dry, incense-scented air of the sanctuary. The storm is outside, but you are inside, saved by the simple, welcoming gesture of the cat. Speaking of thresholds and doors, we owe a debt of gratitude to one of history's greatest minds for understanding the cat's need for freedom. It is said that Sir Isaac Newton, the physicist who unravelled the secrets of gravity and light, was also the inventor of the cat flap. While studying at Cambridge, Newton was experimenting with the nature of light, requiring a room of total darkness. But his beloved cat, Spithead, kept nudging the door open to come and go, letting in the ruining light. Rather than banish the cat, Newton cut a hole in the door and covered it with felt, allowing the cat to pass without breaking the seal of the room. It was an invention born of respect for the cat's autonomy. The cat belongs to two worlds, the light and the dark, the inside and the outside. They cannot be contained. Visualize this small, swinging door in the architecture of your mind. It represents the freedom of your thoughts. You do not need to keep the door of your mind locked tight. You can install a flap. Let the thoughts come and go. Let the feelings enter and exit. You remain in the center, in the peaceful dark, observing their transit without being disturbed by it. You are the master of the room, but you allow the flow of life to pass through, soft and silent as a cat through felt. And what does the cat bring through that flap? Often, it is a gift that we humans struggle to appreciate. We speak of the prey gift, the toy mouse, or in the wild, the hunter's prize, dropped onto the doormat or the pillow. We often recoil, seeing it as gruesome, but we must reframe this through the eyes of the feline. In the wild, mother cats bring injured or dead prey to their kittens to teach them how to eat and how to hunt. When a cat brings you a gift, they are not trying to disgust you. They are caring for you. They have observed your behaviour, your lack of claws, your inability to catch moths, your dull teeth, and they have concluded that you are a terrible hunter. You are the kitten that cannot feed itself. This gift is an act of supreme benevolence. It is them saying, I will provide for you. I will ensure you do not starve. Visualize the emotional weight of this gesture. Imagine a love so primal that it seeks to feed you, to teach you, to ensure your survival. Receive the energy of the gift, if not the object itself. Accept the care. You're being watched over by a provider who takes their duty seriously. You are part of the clan, and the hunter will always ensure there is enough for you. From this nurturing instinct, we move to a form of social bonding that is purely about texture and trust, allogrooming. This is the scientific term for mutual grooming. You will see two cats who are friends sitting together, and one will begin to lick the other's head, usually around the ears and the forehead, places the recipient cannot reach themselves. It is a practical act of hygiene, yes, but it is primarily a political and social act. It cements the bond. It mixes their scents. It lowers their heart rates. But notice the texture. The tongue is rough, like wet sandpaper. It provides a level of friction that is deeply grounding. It stimulates the release of endorphins. Visualize this sensation on your own forehead. Not a wetness, but a rhythmic, dry rasping that smooths away the worry lines. Imagine the rough tongue scrubbing away the chaotic thoughts, exfoliating the stress from your mind. It is a sensation of being cared for, of being cleaned. The cat is grooming your aura, removing the debris of the day, leaving you shiny, smooth, and aligned with the colony. You're being prepared for the clean, pure state of sleep. Finally, we lift our eyes from the domestic scene and return to the stars, completing the circle begun by Felicet. In the constellation of Draco the Dragon, floating 3,000 light-years from Earth, lies one of the most complex and beautiful structures in the universe, the Cat's Eye Nebula. Known to astronomers as NGC 6543, it is a dying star that has shed its outer layers of gas, creating a magnificent glowing pattern of concentric rings and intricate knots. When viewed through the Hubble Space Telescope, it looks unmistakably like the unblinking eye of a cosmic feline, a pupil of dying light surrounded by an iris of green and red nebula gas. It is the universe looking back at us with the detached, eternal gaze of the cat. It reminds us that the qualities we admire in the cat, mystery, beauty, silence, and independence, are written into the very fabric of the stars. Visualize this giant, glowing eye in the sky. It is watching over you as you sleep. It is the eye of the great mother cat, the universe itself keeping a vigil in the dark. You're floating in the gaze of the cosmos, safe, seen, and held in the grand purring design of eternity. The eye blinks slowly, a nebula-sized slow blink of love, and the universe drifts into the peaceful darkness of the void. Drifting from the cosmic gaze of the Cat's Eye Nebula, we lower our vision back to the earthly realm, yet we remain fixed on the mesmerizing portal of the eye. Sometimes nature decides that a single colour is not enough to contain the mystery of the feline soul, and so it paints with both the sun and the moon. We speak of the phenomenon known as heterochromia, or odd eyes. It is most often found in the Turkish Van or the Angora, ancient breeds from the high mountains where the air is thin and clear. Visualize a cat sitting before you in the soft grey light of dawn. One eye is a deep, burnished amber, holding the warmth of the earth and the fire of the hearth. The other is a crystalline blue, cold and vast as a glacial lake or the winter sky. In ancient folklore, it was believed that such cats could see into both worlds simultaneously, the gold eye watching the living and the blue eye watching the spirits. They are the guardians of the balance, living bridges between the day and the night. Imagine looking into these dual-coloured eyes and finding a sense of complete equilibrium. You too hold these opposites within you, the fire of your passion and the cool water of your peace. The cat teaches us that we do not have to choose. We can contain multitudes. We can be both grounded and ethereal, warm and cool, holding the duality of the universe in a single steady gaze. Hovering just above these jewels of vision, sprouting from the ridge of the brow, are the superciliary whiskers. We often focus on the majestic fan of whiskers on the muzzle, but these longer, stiffer hairs above the eyes serve a specific protective purpose. They are the guardians of the sight. In the wild, when a cat is stalking through tall, sharp grass or dense underbrush, it is these eyebrow whiskers that trigger the blink reflex. If they brush against a twig or a leaf, the eye closes instantly, faster than conscious thought, protecting the cornea from a scratch. Visualize the sensitivity of these long, elegant hairs. They are like the delicate antennae of a butterfly testing the space immediately in front of the forehead. They act as a warning system for the vertical world, telling the cat if a space is too low to pass under. Imagine having this kind of intuitive protection for your own mind. Visualize a set of spiritual whiskers guarding your inner vision. Before a harsh thought or a sharp worry can scratch the surface of your peace, these sensors detect it and trigger a protective blink. You simply close the eye of your mind to the negativity. It brushes past you, harmless, deflected by your natural defenses. You're safe to move through the thickets of the world, knowing that your vision is guarded by an automatic reflexive shield of peace. Sometimes the world becomes too bright, too loud, or simply too much, and the cat engages a posture of total shutdown that is both amusing and deeply relatable. The face plant. You have likely seen it. A cat sleeping deeply, who then slowly tips forward until its forehead or nose is pressed firmly into the cushion, burying its face completely. While it looks like a gesture of exhaustion, it is often a deliberate act of comfort. By burying the nose, the cat keeps this chilly extremity warm, recycling the heat of its own breath in the small pocket of fabric. But more importantly, it blocks out the light. It is a do not disturb sign written in body language. It signals a desire for absolute sensory deprivation. Visualize this act of burying your face in a soft, cool pillow. Imagine the relief of shutting out the visual world entirely. There is no need to look at anything. There is no need to breathe the cold air of the room. You're creating a private, warm cavern for your senses. Press your forehead into the softness of the dream. Let the weight of your head be fully supported by the surface beneath you. You're planting yourself in the soil of sleep, rooting down into the darkness, protected, warm, and hidden from the demands of the light. Hidden within that buried face is the nose, which we have admired for its unique print, but which also functions as a highly sophisticated thermal scanner. A cat does not need to touch its food to know if it is hot or cold. The tip of the feline nose is packed with thermal receptors so sensitive that they can detect temperature differences of less than half a degree from several inches away. This allows them to test the safety of a meal without risking a burn to their delicate tongue. They can map the heat of a room simply by sniffing the air. Visualize this invisible heat map. Imagine navigating your life with this level of thermal intuition. You do not need to get burned to learn a lesson. You can sense the temperature of a situation, the heat of an argument, the coldness of a rejection, before you even make contact. You can steer clear of the extremes, guided by a delicate, remote sensing of what is safe and comfortable. Let this image guide you to the lukewarm places, the Goldilocks zones of your life where the energy is neither scalding nor freezing, but perfectly ambient, allowing you to rest without defensive effort. This sensitivity to temperature and freshness explains a behaviour that often baffles us: the cat's obsession with the bathroom faucet. You pour a bowl of fresh water, yet the cat jumps to the sink, begging for the thin silver stream from the tap. This is an ancient instinct, whispering from the DNA of their wild ancestors. In nature, still water is often stagnant, teeming with bacteria and danger. Running water, however, is likely to be fresh, oxygenated, and clean. The sound of trickling water is a biological green light for safety. Visualize the crystal clear stream of a mountain spring. Hear the gentle musical burble of the water flowing over mossy stones. It is cool, aerated, and full of life. The cat seeks this purity. Imagine that you're drinking from this source. You're not settling for the stagnant, dusty water of old habits or stale emotions. You are going to the source. You are seeking the flow. Let the sound of running water wash through your mind, carrying away the debris of the day, leaving your thoughts clear, sparkling, and moving with a gentle, fluid purpose. You are hydrated by the fresh, living current of the present moment. Hydrated and cool, the cat seeks a surface to release the excess heat of the day, adopting the posture affectionately known as the sploot. In this position, the cat lies on its belly but extends its hind legs straight back behind it, like a frog or a superhero in flight. This places the entire surface area of the stomach and the inner thighs, where the fur is thinnest, directly against the cool floor. It is a masterclass in thermal regulation through conduction, but the sploot is also a sign of healthy hips and extreme flexibility. It stretches the hip flexors and the lower back in a way that would make a yoga instructor jealous. Visualize this sensation of lengthening. Imagine your own legs stretching back, opening the tight creases of your hips. Imagine your belly pressing against the cool, firm earth grounding you. The heat of your stress drains out of your body and into the floor, neutralized by the ground. You are long, low, and connected. There is no bunching up, no curling in, just a long straight line of release, cooling down the core, melting into the support of the foundation beneath you. Even in this state of sprawling relaxation, The cat is a coiled spring of latent power. We contemplate now the miracle of their reaction time. The average human reaction time is about 250 milliseconds. The average domestic cat, between 20 and 70 milliseconds. They are faster than a striking snake. If you drop a toy, the cat's paw has often intercepted it before your brain has even registered that it has fallen. This speed is not manic. It is efficient. It means they do not have to live in a state of high alert because they know they can handle whatever happens in the blink of an eye. They can afford to be lazy because they are fast. Visualize this latent potential within yourself. You do not need to be anxious or hypervigilant to be safe. You possess an inner quickness, an intuition that will snap into action if, and only if, it is needed. Until then, you can rest deep in the slow lane. You can trust your reflexes. You can trust your gut. You're a dormant lightning bolt, peaceful and still, knowing that your power is always there, waiting in the silence, ready to catch the falling stars of your dreams. Sometimes, amidst this grace and speed, the cat forgets itself in a moment of pure, goofy relaxation. The jaw goes slack, the concentration fades, and the tip of the pink tongue slips out and stays there. This is the blep. It is a glitch in the matrix of their dignity. It happens because the muscles of the mouth have relaxed so completely that the cat simply forgets to retract the tongue. It is a sign that they have let down every single guard. There is a profound lesson in the blep, the permission to be imperfect. Even the most elegant lethal hunter in nature has moments of silliness. Visualize the tension in your own jaw. We often hold so much control there, keeping our mouths shut, our teeth clenched, our words guarded. Let your jaw hang loose. Let your tongue rest softly on the floor of your mouth, or even press against the back of your teeth. Let go of the need to look composed. In the privacy of the night, you can be undone. You can be soft. You can forget to hold it all together. Let the blep be a symbol of your release from the tyranny of perfection. You're allowed to simply be, tongue tip and all. As the cat rouses from this deep relaxation to greet you, watch the tail rise. It does not just stick up. The tip curls over, forming a perfect shape, the question mark. This hook at the end of the tail is the universal feline sign of friendly intent. A tail held high and straight acts as a flag of confidence, but the curled tip softens the message, transforming it into an invitation. It says, "I am happy to see you. Will you interact with me?" It is a gesture of curiosity and openness. In the wild, cats use this visual signal to tell other members of the colony that they come in peace, that play is welcome. Visualize this shape in the air, a soft, fuzzy curve against the backdrop of the room. It is a question mark that demands no answer other than a scratch behind the ears. Imagine your own spine lengthening and the top of your head bowing slightly in a gesture of gentle greeting to the night. You're entering the sleep state with a question mark spirit. Open, curious, and friendly. You're not demanding sleep. You're inviting it. You're raising your flag of peace, curling the tip in a soft beckoning to the dreams that wait in the shadows. Finally, we settle into the rhythm of the household, guided by the most accurate timepiece in the world, the stomach of the cat. We speak of cat time. Anyone who lives with a feline knows that they do not need a wristwatch to know that it is exactly 6 p.m. They are governed by a circadian rhythm that is tuned to the millisecond. Their internal biological clock is synchronized with the movement of the sun, the length of the shadows, and the metabolic rate of their own bodies. They thrive on routine. Predictability is their love language. When the world feels chaotic and uncertain, the cat reminds us of the comfort of the cycle. Sun up, breakfast. Sun high, nap. Sun down, dinner. Moon high, zoomies. There is a deep, anchoring peace in this repetition. Visualize yourself syncing with this ancient, repetitive clock. You do not need to worry about what time it is or what you might be missing. You're exactly where you need to be in the cycle. Now is the time for rest. It is a non-negotiable appointment with the universe. The cat does not negotiate with time, it accepts it. Accept this moment of sleep as your biological destiny. The clock strikes sleep. The routine holds you safe. The rhythm of the cosmos beats in time with the purr, ticking away the seconds, soft and slow and sure. Stepping into the rhythm of this ancient biological clock, we find ourselves walking backward through the corridors of time, back to the moment this partnership began. Unlike the dog, who was bred to hunt or herd, or the horse, broken to carry the weight of empires, the cat possesses a unique distinction in the animal kingdom. It domesticated itself. We did not drag them from the wild. They wandered in from the cold. Visualize the golden light of the Fertile Crescent thousands of years ago. The first farmers were storing grain, and with the grain came the mice. The African wildcat, seeing an opportunity, moved into the settlements. It was a mutual agreement, a social contract signed not with ink, but with presence. They chose us. They looked at the warmth of our fires and the abundance of our barns and decided to stay. Reflect on the dignity of this choice. The creature sleeping in your home is not a captive, it is a volunteer. It is a sovereign being that has granted you the privilege of its company. Imagine this relationship as a bridge between two independent nations. You do not own the cat, you share a territory with it. There is a profound peace in knowing that their affection is not trained or forced, but freely given. When a cat sits on your lap, it is reaffirming that ancient treaty, choosing you, again and again, over the solitude of the wild. Because they retain this wild independence, they have kept a survival mechanism that allows them to rest without ever fully lowering their guard. We explore now the phenomenon of unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. While we humans tend to shut down our entire brain to enter the dream world, the cat has the ability to sleep with half a brain at a time. Visualize the cat dozing on a fence post or the back of a sofa. One eye might be squeezed shut, heavy with sleep, while the other is merely a slit, glinting slightly. In this state, one hemisphere of the brain is in deep restorative slumber, repairing tissues and organizing memories. The other hemisphere remains awake, alert to the rustle of leaves or the approach of a stranger. They are straddling the line between worlds. Imagine possessing this ability to rest while remaining vigilant. It is the ultimate state of mindful resting. You do not need to disconnect completely to find peace. You can allow a part of yourself to drift into the deep, dark ocean of sleep, while a small, quiet sentry remains on the shore keeping watch. You're safe. You're covered. You can surrender to the wave of sleep, knowing that the watcher within you never truly leaves its post. As we observe the cat in this state of semi-slumber, our eyes are drawn to a tiny, mysterious anatomical feature located on the outer edge of the ear. It looks like a small slit, or a double fold of skin, forming a little pocket. This is the cutaneous marginal pouch, known whimsically to anatomists as Henry's pocket. Science has yet to fully agree on its purpose. Some believe it acts as a stiffener for the ear, keeping it upright. Others believe it helps to filter high-pitched sounds, or that it allows the ear to flatten completely during a fight. But let us view it as a vessel of mystery. It is a secret pocket where the cat keeps the whispers of the universe. Visualize this small velvet fold. It captures the sounds that we're too busy to hear, the settling of the house, the sigh of the wind, the hum of the earth. It is a reminder that there are designs in nature that we do not yet understand, secret architectures built for listening. Imagine that you too have a pocket for listening, a space where you can catch the subtle, quiet truths of your life before they blow away. You're tuned in to the frequencies of the unknown, collecting the soft murmurs of the night in the velvet folds of your consciousness. From the listening ear, we move to the instrument of reply, the voice. While a dog may bark or growl, its vocal range is relatively limited. The cat, however, is a vocal virtuoso. They are capable of making over 100 distinct sounds, compared to a dog's 10. From the chirp to the trill, the yowl to the chatter, the hiss to the silent meow, they are the opera singers of the animal kingdom, But what is most fascinating is that the majority of these sounds are improvised. They are jazz musicians. A cat will modulate the pitch, tone and duration of its call based on the specific result it wants from you. They learn what pitch makes you fill the bowl and what tone makes you open the door. They're constantly composing a language that is unique to your relationship. Visualize the air filling with these varied notes, not as noise but as a complex song of connection. Think of the murmur, a soft exhaled sound made with the mouth closed, often used to acknowledge a friendly presence. It is a hum of contentment. Let this symphony of 100 sounds remind you of the complexity of communication. You do not need to use the same words for everything. You can hum, you can sigh, you can trill. In the quiet of the sleep state, listen for the subtle internal music of your own being, the 100 different ways your body tells you it is time to rest. Drifting closer to the coat of the singer, we zoom in until our vision is filled with a single strand of fur. If you look closely at a tabby or a wild-type cat, you will see that the individual hairs are not one solid colour. They are banded. The base might be dark, the middle light, and the tip dark again. This is the work of the agouti gene. This banding creates a shimmering textured effect known as ticking. It breaks up the outline of the cat in the dappled light of the forest, making them invisible to prey and predator alike. It is nature's own camouflage, a cloak of invisibility woven from light and shadow. Visualize a field of tall, dry grass blowing in the wind. The colours shift from gold to brown to amber. This is the landscape of the cat's fur. It is not static. It is a living texture. Imagine wrapping yourself in this agouti cloak. As you pull it around your shoulders, your sharp edges dissolve. You blend into the background. You're no longer a distinct target for your worries. You're part of the scenery, camouflaged by the natural rhythms of the night. You are hidden, safe, and shimmering with the quiet, banded light of the earth. Beneath this camouflaged coat, the cat engages in a ritual of renewal that often leaves behind small, crescent-shaped artifacts. We speak of the shedding of the claw sheaths. Unlike our fingernails, which grow continuously and must be trimmed, the cat's claw grows in layers, like an onion. When the outer layer becomes dull or frayed, it dies and peels away, revealing a brand new, needle-sharp claw underneath. You may have found these husks on your scratching post, or embedded in the rug. Hollow, translucent shells that look like perfect replicas of the claw. This is not breakage, it is rebirth. The cat casts off the old to make way for the new. Visualize this process of shedding. Think of the dull claws of your own life, the old defences that no longer serve you, the worn-out habits, the tired ways of gripping the world. Imagine them loosening. With a gentle stretch, a satisfying scratch against the fabric of the dream, they pop off. They fall away, hollow and weightless. Underneath, you are new. You are sharp, clean, and ready. You're not holding on to the dead layers of the past. You are constantly renewing your ability to hold on to what matters, shedding the husks of yesterday to reveal the pristine potential of tomorrow. This need to shed the old layers brings us to the misunderstood behaviour of scratching. When a cat sinks its claws into the arm of your sofa or the bark of a tree, it is not acting out of malice. It is engaging in a complex act of communication that is both visual and chemical. We know they are sharpening their claws, but they are also painting a portrait of themselves. Between the toes of the front paws lie interdigital scent glands. When the cat scratches, it leaves deep vertical gouges, a visual mark that says, "I am strong," and simultaneously deposits a unique pheromone that says, "I am here." It is a graffiti of ownership. They are turning the environment into a familiar landscape, saturating it with their essence. Visualize the cat reaching up high, stretching its spine, and dragging its claws down the bark of a sturdy oak tree. It is a satisfying, full-body release. Imagine that you are marking your own territory of sleep. You are claiming this bed, this pillow, this moment. You are leaving the scent of your relaxation on the room. You are saying, "This space belongs to my peace." Feel the satisfaction of claiming your sanctuary, knowing that the boundaries are set and the space is signed with your own signature of rest. As the cat marks its territory, it also reads the atmosphere with the skill of a meteorologist. We explore the folklore and the science of the cat as a rain forecaster. For centuries, sailors and farmers believed that if a cat washed behind its ears, rain was coming. If they sneezed, it would drizzle. If they slept with all four paws tucked under, a cold snap was approaching. While some of this is superstition, there is truth in their sensitivity to barometric pressure. The inner ear of the cat is highly sensitive to changes in atmospheric density. Before a storm, the pressure drops. This can feel different in the ear, perhaps itchy or full, causing the cat to groom that area more vigorously. They feel the weight of the air changing before the first cloud appears. Visualize the air in your room. Is it heavy? Is it light? Imagine you are a barometer of peace. You can sense the storms of life coming, but instead of panicking, you prepare. You tuck your paws in. You wash away the static. You settle down low. Let the cat's prescience teach you to respect the atmosphere. If the pressure is dropping, it is time to rest. It is time to batten down the hatches of your mind and wait out the rain in the warm, dry comfort of your bed. The storm will pass, but the calm of the cat remains. From the storms of the sky, we travel to the bustling markets of old Baghdad to find the origin of a name. We have spoken of the tabby pattern, but the word tabby itself is a thread that connects the cat to the history of luxury. The word comes from Al-Atabiya, a district in Baghdad famous for a specific type of watered silk, taffeta with a wavy striped pattern. When these silks arrived in Britain in the 17th century, the striped cats who wandered the cobblestones were named tabby cats, after the fabric. To call a cat a tabby is to compare it to the finest, softest, most expensive silk in the world. Visualize the texture of watered silk. It is cool to the touch, rippling like liquid in the light. This is the essence of the cat. They are living luxury. Run your hand over the imaginary flank of a tabby cat. Feel the slip and slide of the fur, the exquisite softness that rivals the looms of the ancient world. You're sleeping next to royalty. You're draped in the finest fabric of the cosmos. Let this sensation of silkiness invade your sheets. The rough cotton transforms into the smooth, cooling touch of Al-Atabiya silk, wrapping you in a cocoon of elegance and comfort. Finally, we rest our eyes on the majestic silhouette of the cat, focusing on the ruff of fur that encircles the neck of breeds like the Maine Coon or the Norwegian forest cat. This is the apron, or the frill. It is a lion-like mane that gives them an air of regal authority. In the wild, this thick collar served to protect the jugular vein during disputes and to keep the chest warm in the deep snows of the north, but to us, it is a symbol of their noble heritage. When a cat sits with its chest puffed out, the ruff framing its face, it looks like a king holding court. Visualize this mane of soft, dense fur. It is a natural scarf, a built-in comforter. Imagine burying your face in this frill. It smells of clean fur and cold air. It is deep enough to get lost in. Visualize yourself wearing a mantle of protection. You have your own ruff, a shield of energy that protects your throat, your voice, and your heart. It keeps the warmth in and the cold out. You're regal. You're dignified. You're sitting tall in the throne room of your dreams, protected by the lion's mane, ruling over a kingdom of absolute silence and peace. The king of the forest is guarding your gate, and his mane is a wall of soft, impenetrable safety. From the regal majesty of the lion's mane and the thick, protective ruff of the forest cat, we drift to the opposite end of the sensory spectrum, uncovering a creature that wears no armour at all. We speak of the Sphinx, the hairless wonder. To touch a Sphinx is to touch the essence of warmth itself. Without the barrier of fur, their skin feels like warm, living suede, or a peach warmed by the afternoon sun. It is a texture of absolute vulnerability. Visualize running your hand over this chamois soft skin. There is no static, no fluff, only the direct radiating heat of the life force within. Because they lack the insulation of a coat, they are heat-seeking missiles, always searching for a lap, a blanket, or another body to borrow warmth from. To hold a hairless cat is to be a living radiator, a provider of comfort in its rawest form. Imagine yourself stripping away your own fur, the layers of persona, the costumes you wear for society, the defences you put up. Imagine being comfortable in your own skin, naked and unashamed, seeking warmth without hesitation. You're authentic, you're open, you're warm to the touch, radiating your truth without needing to hide behind a single strand of pretense. From this state of total exposure, we sink into a state of total muscular surrender, inspired by the gentle giant known as the ragdoll. This breed is named for a specific magical reflex. When you pick them up, they do not tense, they do not hold their shape, they go completely limp. They dissolve into your arms, trusting you implicitly to hold their weight. It is a phenomenon of zero muscle tone. Most of us move through life holding a subtle tension in our shoulders, our jaws, our hands, bracing for a fall that never comes. The ragdoll teaches us the art of the flop. Visualize your body as a ragdoll. Imagine a giant, benevolent hand lifting you gently from the mattress. As it does, your head falls back, your arms dangle loose, your legs become heavy and soft. You're not helping the hand hold you. You are dead weight. In the most peaceful sense of the term, you have relinquished all control to the gravity of the dream. You're soft, pliable, and utterly at peace, flowing like water into the mould of the bed. As we lie there, limp and relaxed, a scent drifts through the air, a herbaceous, minty aroma that triggers a wave of euphoria. We're exploring the mystery of Nepeta cataria, better known as catnip. This member of the mint family contains a volatile oil called nepetalactone, which when inhaled by a cat mimics a feline pheromone. It fits into the receptors of the cat's nose like a key into a lock, unlocking a temporary door to a world of pure, playful bliss. Watch the cat as it encounters this herb. It sniffs, and then the eyes widen. It begins to rub its face in the leaves, rolling on its back, twisting its body in a dance of ecstasy. It is a moment of chemically induced joy, a harmless holiday from the mundane. But not all cats react. The sensitivity is genetic, inherited from their parents. Visualize yourself finding your own catnip, that specific trigger that brings you simple, unadulterated joy. Maybe it is the smell of rain, the sound of a cello, or the feel of clean sheets. Imagine inhaling that scent now. Feel the happy receptors in your brain lighting up. You are rolling in the delight of the moment, rubbing your soul against the texture of joy, lost in a fragrant trance of happiness. While the nose revels in the scent of mint, the eyes are seeing a world that is invisible to us. We move to the concept of ultraviolet vision. The lens of the human eye blocks out UV light, protecting our retinas but limiting our spectrum. The cat's eye, however, allows a portion of this ultraviolet light to pass through. To them, the world is painted with extra colours. Flowers that look plain to us may have glowing, intricate patterns on their petals to guide the bees, and the cats see them. They see the secret maps of nature. They see the urine trails of mice glowing in the dark grass like neon signs. They see the world not as it appears, but as it is, in all its hidden spectrums. Visualize having this UV vision. Imagine looking at the darkness of your room and seeing not emptiness, but a glowing tapestry of energy. The night is not black. It is a deep, rich violet, alive with patterns and trails of light. You are seeing the magic that hides in the shadows, the secret phosphorescence of the universe that glows only for those who are quiet enough to look. From the secret vision of the individual, we pan out to observe the secret society of the group. We have spoken of the kindle of kittens, but a group of adult cats carries a name with a much more mysterious weight. A clouder. The word sounds heavy, like a cloud gathering on the horizon. It speaks of a silent, heavy presence. Cats are not pack animals like dogs. They do not hunt together. So when they form a clouder, it is a gathering of choice, a meeting of independent souls. Visualize a clouder of cats sitting in a moonlit garden. They are not touching, but they are together. They are sitting in a rough circle, facing outward, watching the night. There is no leader, no follower, just a shared stillness. Imagine joining this clouder. You do not need to speak to be part of the group. You do not need to perform. You simply need to take your place in the circle, sit quietly, and share the watch. You are part of the silent council of the night, connected to others not by noise, but by the shared appreciation of the peace. Leaving the garden, we travel to the salty, rocking world of the ocean to honour the legacy of the ship's cat. For centuries, no vessel set sail without a feline guardian to protect the food stores from rats and to offer comfort to the lonely sailors. These cats were believed to bring fair winds. They learned to walk on swaying decks, adjusting their centre of gravity with every roll of the waves. Think of Unsinkable Sam, the famous black and white cat who survived the sinking of 3 different ships during World War II, found floating on planks, wet but alive, ready to board the next vessel. He is the avatar of resilience. Visualize yourself as a ship's cat. The ocean of life may be rocking beneath you, the waves may be high, but you have your sea legs. You can sleep in a hammock that swings with the storm. You are unsinkable. No matter what ship goes down, you will find a piece of driftwood, you will paddle to safety, and you will find a new warm boiler to sleep beside. You are the survivor of the high seas, balanced, lucky, and eternal. From the roar of the ocean, we retreat to the hushed, vanilla-scented air of the sanctuary of knowledge, the library cat. Throughout history, from the papyrus scrolls of Alexandria to the modern public library, cats have patrolled the stacks. Their job was to protect the paper from mice, but their legacy is one of silence and companionship. Visualize a cat named Dewey, or perhaps a nameless guardian, sleeping atop a stack of leather-bound books. The air smells of old paper, glue, and dust motes dancing in the shafts of sunlight. The library cat moves through the aisles without making a sound, a furry ghost among the stories of the world. To read with a cat is to share the solitude without being lonely. Imagine curling up in a sunbeam in the back corner of a vast library. You're surrounded by the wisdom of the ages, guarded by the silent watcher. There is no noise here, only the turning of pages and the soft rhythm of breathing. You're a keeper of the quiet, resting your head on the stories of the past, safe in the hushed cathedral of words. High above the library floor on a narrow railing, we find a cat engaging in a feat of balance that defies logic, the monorail. This is the charming term for a cat lying on a narrow branch, the back of a sofa, or a railing, with all 4 legs dangling down on either side. They look like a monorail train wrapped around the track. This position requires a total trust in their centre of gravity. They are not holding on with their claws, they are balanced by the distribution of their weight. They have become one with the beam. Visualize this sensation of perfect alignment. Imagine you are lying on a narrow beam of light. You do not need to grip it. You simply let your weight drape over it, heavy and even on both sides. You're perfectly centered. You cannot fall because you have merged with the support. You're gliding along the rail of the dream, suspended above the floor, balanced by the sheer heaviness of your own relaxation. As the cat descends from the rail and settles onto a flat surface, it performs a final act of geometric closure, the tail wrap. Watch as the cat sits or lies down and then, with a deliberate sweeping motion, brings its tail around its body, tucking the tip over its front paws. It is a gesture of neatness, of containment. It is a self-hug. By wrapping the tail, the cat creates a physical boundary between itself and the world. It is saying, "I am a closed circle. Nothing enters without my permission." It keeps the toes warm and the energy contained. Visualize a long, soft tail extending from your spine, sweeping around you and tucking you in. You're wrapping yourself in your own warmth. You're drawing a circle of protection in the sand. Within this loop, you are whole. You are complete. You do not need anything from the outside world to complete your circle. You are wrapped in the embrace of your own spirit. Finally, in this self-contained peace, another presence approaches, a friend, a companion, another soul. The cat leans forward, neck stretched, and touches its nose gently to the nose of the other. This is the nose boop, the cat kiss of greeting. It is not just a touch, it is an exchange of breath. For a brief second, the two creatures share the same air. They inhale each other's life force. It is a moment of vulnerability, bringing the most sensitive part of the face into contact with another. It is the feline equivalent of a handshake and a hug combined. I see you. I know you. I breathe with you. Visualize this gentle, cool touch against the tip of your nose. It is the universe greeting you. It is the breath of life acknowledging your presence. Feel the spark of connection, the tiny electrical current of love that jumps across the gap. You're not alone in the dark. You are met, you are greeted, and you are welcomed into the collective breath of all living things, drifting together on the tide of the great cosmic sleep. From the gentle connection of that shared breath, we arrive at the final, most profound secret of the feline soul, a truth that encompasses all the whiskers, the purrs, and the leaps we have witnessed on this long journey. It is the mastery of Wu Wei, the ancient Taoist concept of effortless action or non-doing. Observe the cat when it is truly still. It is not waiting for something to happen. It is not bored. It is not planning its next move. It is simply, magnificently, existing. A cat does not try to be a cat. It does not try to relax. It does not try to sleep. It simply allows the universe to move through it. It occupies the present moment so completely that there is no room for the past or the future. When a cat sits in a chair, it becomes the chair. When it lies in the sun, it becomes the light. It offers no resistance to the flow of life. This is the ultimate lesson they have been whispering to us for thousands of years. You do not need to do sleep. Sleep is not a task to be achieved or a prize to be won. Sleep is the natural state that remains when you stop resisting the gravity of your own being. Visualize the cat dissolving into the stillness, its boundaries softening until it is just a vibration of peace in the room. This is your final invitation. Stop trying to sleep. Stop trying to relax. Simply stop doing. Drop the effort. Like the cat, realize that you are already exactly where you need to be. You're a perfect vessel of life, resting in the center of the eternal now. There is nothing to fix. There is nothing to guard. You are the master of the effortless. You are the stillness that anchors the spinning world. You are, in this moment, the pure, unadulterated essence of being. And so, the journey slows. The great caravan of images, the golden sands of Egypt, the blue eyes of the kitten, the cosmic nebula, and the velvet paws, begins to fade into the soft, comforting grey of the mist. The river we have floated upon widens, losing its current, becoming a vast, still lake of indigo water. The water is smooth as glass, reflecting the quiet stars of your own mind. Feel the heaviness settling into your bones, a delicious warm weight that pulls you down into the mattress. The cat has curled into its final circle. The tail is tucked, the eyes are closed, the third eyelid has descended, the purr has slowed to a rhythmic subsonic hum that matches the rotation of the earth. Everything is quiet, everything is still. The doors of the library are locked. The ship has found its harbour. The desert wind has died down. There is only the silence, thick and soft as fur, wrapping around you, insulating you, holding you. You're drifting away from the shore of thoughts, floating out into the centre of the deep, dark water. You are safe. You are warm. You are loved. The universe is watching over you with a slow, blinking gaze of infinite tenderness. Let go of the last thread. Let the darkness take you. And now, 101 wonders are resting with you. Sleep now. Good night.